Hello and welcome to Good Brews Bad Views, the podcast that asks if great beer makes bad movies any better. I am your host with all the industry connections, one, Max Nestorowicz, and I'm joined by my co-host, one, a racer with nothing to win, Brian Everard.
That's me.
And a racer with everything to lose, maybe, James Thorpe.
Hi.
And we are joined today by a good friend of the show, Dave Mariow. Hello, Dave.
Hi, Dave.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Well, welcome.
So yes, welcome to 2019. Good riddance, 2019. That year
It's finally
lasted
over,
literally
thank God.
forever. Yes, yeah. Like, going through the end of the year list of like, hey, remember this crazy thing? Do you guys remember the black sarcophagus?
No, what was that?
They found this black sarcophagus.
Oh, yeah, that had
like,
the
had the
mystery
liquid in
disease,
it.
potentially.
with like 3 bodies inside and a bunch of like red soup. Or just like decomposed bodies. Like, I had forgotten entirely about that, but no,
Yeah, it's
that was 2018.
It's a 2018 thing for sure.
The year that lasted, 5 years at least. So, but yes, Good Brews, Bad Views. Back in 2019, brand new guests, some cool things planned for this year, so we hope you tune in and hope to maybe see you sometime.
Yeah.
But before we get onto that, you're here now, listen to this. So, Dave, what are we watching today?
Oh, you guys are in for a treat. We are watching the 2001 classic Driven, written and, I believe, directed by Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah,
not Rennie.
Rennie Harlan. Yeah,
Rennie
right,
Harlan
right.
directed it, but yes, Sylvester Stallone.
He
wrote
was
this
deep
movie
into it,
for
right?
some reason.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Also, I think you and I have different definitions of the word treat, but let it slide.
It's a, yeah. It's one of those, like, mayonnaise-filled treats. So not a treat at all. But, Dave, since you are a first-time guest on the show, we have a couple questions to ask you as listeners
Oh,
will
all
know.
right.
Pencils ready?
Question number 1. What is the first movie you can recall seeing in theaters?
I believe it's going to be when my parents took me to go see Grease.
Oh, wow,
Oh,
Grease,
cool.
okay.
When they
Yeah.
re-released that. Sorry, I can't talk.
Yeah, I remember that. That was a big deal.
Yeah, so
Question number 2. What was the first bad movie you ever saw, theater or otherwise?
was in the theater. I saw Batman and Robin.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we tortured Jordan by making him watch that. He somehow...
Nothing but bat nipples. It's awful.
The bat nips, man.
Yep. And last, but most certainly not least, what was the beer that showed you there was more to craft beer or more to beer than what you otherwise thought?
Well, I went to college in Ohio, and they didn't really have a craft brew scene down there, so Two Hearted was introduced me by a friend that went to U of M, and
That's a solid entry point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you went to Bowling Green?
Yep,
I
that's
think?
right.
Yeah. Ohio's got some good craft breweries. Great Lakes Brewing out of Cleveland's pretty solid. I think they're like 20th like largest in the country, at least the last time I heard, but who knows about that? That was a couple years ago. But yeah, a lot of cool things on in Columbus and Cincy as well. But if this is your first time listening to the podcast, welcome. We're sorry. If
Deeply
not,
sorry.
welcome back. We're glad you're back. We're going to be watching a bad movie, Driven, today, and we're going to be drinking some beer alongside of it and making some conversation and, jokes, commentary, all that fine jazz. The podcast is designed to be watched alongside the movie, but we're going to try to be descriptive of this car racing movie, so a lot of our description might just be their racing to help you kind of follow along if you're not watching.
Double
Right.
tap your earbuds to enable descriptive audio.
Podcast subtitles. Ryan, tell the folks at home where they can watch along with us if they so choose to.
Well, if you're looking for a similar punishment to us, we are streaming on Amazon today. On the Amazon stream, we are 14 seconds in. The Franchise Pictures logo, very creative folks there, has just faded from the screen. And if you're watching along at home, press play now.
So what do you think the chances are that Franchise Pictures is a money laundering thing?
Pretty high. Everything about it seems shady.
Mm.
No one can be that creative by accident, that uncreative by accident.
Yeah. I'm sure there's been some other questionable film studios we've watched through these 60-some episodes. Hey,
Certainly.
Sylvester Stallone, somehow 60-some episodes, I think this is his first appearance on the show.
That might be right.
wow. Well, I'm glad to introduce him.
Yeah,
Yo,
we're not
thanks,
trying hard
Dave.
enough.
Dave, are these numbers accurate, about 900 million spectators?
At one point, maybe, but now not even close.
Yeah. Probably peak popularity, I would assume, but
Particularly for this level of racing.
Yeah.
Because this is not the highest level of racing.
Yeah, so maybe about an hour ago, I thought, or 2 hours ago, I thought this was Formula One. It's not Formula One.
Well, this is the highest series of American open wheel racing.
Yeah. Which is what is this circuit called?
IndyCar.
No. Oh, isn't it like the champ? The champ.
This
racing?
would be the champ cars in this one.
Yeah.
Because there was a whole big split, and champ car got booted from Indy 500, and there's a whole thing.
Yeah. So.
I am so annoyed by these scrolling fonts. It's the fonts that have the other video going behind it. It's very like this.
Oh yeah.
It's real bad.
Yeah. But Dave is our racing expert in house right now, so we're gonna be asking him a lot of questions about racing throughout the next 2 hours or so. So hope it's gonna be informative for you.
Yeah,
And expert can be put in quotes.
Yeah.
and if you guys listening at home have any other additional insights, let us know.
Yeah.
So this opening scene here, this is the Exposition Cup. That's what they're racing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yep. I like how all the U.S. cities got like actual titles and such and names, but now it's just like Brazil, Australia. When you easily could say, Melbourne or Sydney or Rio de Janeiro, but
That's too hard to do.
yeah,
There aren't any other actual cities outside the U.S. We all know that.
Toronto counts though because they mentioned Toronto.
Excuse me.
It's actually one of the biggest scenes is the Toronto coming up.
Yeah. So
This guy. All right, so we've got some young up-and-coming racer man here who's apparently doing quite well for his
Kip
age.
Pardue is the
Kip
actor's
Pardue.
name.
Also, Sunshine in Remember the Titans.
Oh,
Huh.
yeah.
All right, then.
Oh yeah. That is a quality sports movie.
I was just
That
gonna
one's
comment-
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, it is. Oh, that's a good sports movie.
Yep.
That I don't remember seeing this guy in anything else, but Dave got me covered.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in all of my years of going to races, I have never seen a press scrum / autograph session with nothing but models.
yeah. Not at all do I believe this is what actual. No one is into IndyCar racing this much, Dave. I'm sorry.
I mean, I will disagree with you because there are people, I watch the races every week, but this is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, this seems a bit much. Music by Bluetooth.
I mean, I think they're trying to capture a lot of the glamour here of the Formula One circuit. Like they're trying to get all of that in there because those.
Yeah.
I mean, the jet setting lifestyle that those guys get to basically
Oh,
live
for
all
sure.
that
Have you
is-
guys? I assume you guys have all seen like the Monaco race at least once. Dave, I assume.
Yeah.
But that just seeing the yachts that are pulled up to those things are kind of ridiculous. But
So initially, with this opening scene, with some of the opening credits going over it, I was like, man, all this shit's really fucking annoying, and I hate it. And I was like, oh, that's the point.
Yep.
Like, that's good. That's kind
I
of
think
effective here.
there's more cuts in this opening than like a Bourne
Oh,
movie,
boy.
and I think it does
Gotcha
a good way
boner.
of showing just how frantic and
Yeah,
ridiculous.
just
it's
a
supposed to
manic
be.
existence here.
Yeah, it's trying to show he's overwhelmed, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. But this would be overwhelming for anybody.
Yeah.
Of course. Also, I hate whatever song this is. Oh, Sly did the screenplay. All
Yeah.
right.
He was not the director. So.
No.
Yep, that'd be one Rennie Harlan, who I believe had worked with Stallone before this movie.
So Til Schweiger is kind of an interesting actor. I've always thought he was. I like watching him. I find him to be engaging, but he isn't always in great movies.
He looks like the middle Skarsgård. If there were like a Skarsgård in the middle between like a Pokemon evolution,
Would you
like
say
you went from Billy to him to Stellar, like he'd be
To
like
Stellar,
the second.
yeah.
Yeah, he'd
So-
be the middle one.
so he's more of a Farsgard because he's
Yeah,
far from
yeah.
him.
Ooh.
It's not as bad as this movie. Give me a break.
Yep. So on to the beer. So
Sure.
this movie is a international, well-traveled. They're in Germany, they're in Canada, they're in Australia, they're in Japan. So we've got some beer from the various locations that they've been to, mostly Canada and Detroit, but we'll get to that. So we are starting off today with Bellwoods Boysenberry Plum Jelly King, which is a dry hop sour with boysenberry and plum from Toronto. What are you guys thinking of this one so far?
I like it a lot, actually.
Yeah, I'm a big fan
This
of
is
this.
really, really solid.
More.
Yeah. Want
Unfortunately,
more.
we went through the bottle already, but we have more. But no, Bellwoods does like 5 billion variants of this. We're just like, let's do plum now, or let's do cherries, or just more crazy off the wall like boysenberry and plum. So,
Right.
yeah, great sour, very drinkable, very light.
Yeah, it's not like overwhelmingly sour.
No,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think the dry hop really kind of tapers off that, it's not mouth puckering.
Yeah, and I'm finding the dry hopped angle on a lot of like non-dark beers and stuff really adds a lot. Like I very much like a lot of the dry hopped hard ciders tend to be really good.
Oh yeah, well it's a good way to kind of taper off that sweetness, because that's that's my problem.
This is
with
so
ciders.
good.
It's now we're in
pick,
Chicago.
Max.
Yeah.
Also,
right.
this is not Chicago Speedway.
Oh, nailed it. You're like that guy who called into the PGA to talk about the wrong bird sounds being on the audio.
Yeah, that's honestly one of my favorite, just like pedantic.
Just
calls
pedantic
ever.
nonsense.
Yeah.
Oh, to be that
Those
guy.
birds aren't in that part of the country during that season.
The Ottoman Society's like, woo, yeah, you got him.
Oh man.
And there we have one Burt Reynolds.
Yeah. Who is deceased now, right?
Yeah, he just passed away.
Yep. Pretty
A couple
recently.
months ago.
No, one of Archer's idols.
Yep.
So I wonder if I'm going to be the odd man out on this observation, but for a 2-hour movie that's about racing, it was very rare that I felt this movie was engaging as far as feeling the speed.
Well, here's the thing, though. So this movie came out in 2001. I think the Fast
Before
and
speed
Furious-
was invented.
Before speed was invented, yes. So early 2000s, there was a huge resurgence of like car movies. You had this, you had the Gone in 60 Seconds remake with Nick Cage, and you had the first Fast and the Furious movies,
which is awesome.
Yeah.
That one's really good.
Yeah. BT, who did the soundtrack for this, also did the soundtrack for that. So,
Oh wow, okay.
So like,
How is this one so bad?
Yeah, right.
yeah. But what I'm going to is like this movie. It doesn't. Like Ryan was saying, you don't really feel it really until like maybe about halfway through when the movie starts getting ridiculous.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, these are like. There's a definitive way of like how car movies were made after this.
Yeah.
They're much more like actiony and like rough and tumble and kind of thing.
They-
Like people
yeah.
doing crazy things in cars and
Yeah.
whatnot.
And they do a better, and by they I mean just kind of the more contemporary stuff. They seem to do a better job, almost irrespective of the quality of the rest of the movie. But like the high speed portions tend to convey a more visceral feel a little better to me.
And
I don't know.
I think you don't get that in this movie because they're actually filming the car, like the actual cars driving when they film this movie,
Right.
and
Yeah.
they can't wreck a $200,000 car.
Right.
Yeah,
Filming.
I mean, I think part of it too is that when you watch these races in a lot of times, the feeling of speed isn't what you're looking for when you watch these races. So this race is almost, or this is almost filmed the way that it's filmed on TV, where
Right.
it's more they're watching their lines because everybody's going so fast that there's no relative concept to what's happening here.
Sure.
Right? Like
Well,
in the Fast and the Furious movies, you have the cars that are
you're-
just driving along, and
Right.
then out comes
A chase, like
a
someone
chase
peels
scene.
out from the side or
Yeah.
whatnot.
Right.
And those are all set in those are shot in urban settings. So you have the comparison of people on the street, stationary objects. But when it's on a track, it's kind of harder to kind of make that comparison. And a lot of the racing scenes in this movie are filmed at actual like IndyCar racetracks and like races and whatnot.
Well,
so
kind of.
I said some of them, not all of them.
So we talked over it a bit at the beginning, but the short-haired lady in the box here is apparently a reporter who's here to report on the male dominance of the sport, and then they never touch on that
Yeah,
again.
that never comes
Period.
up at all.
No.
Which is kind of a bummer, actually.
Yeah, it's got to be something that was in the screenplay that just got left on the cutting room floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I-
it's
I-
Or
like
maybe
you-
tacked on later. I don't know.
Probably tacked on later.
Well, here's the
just
thing,
to
though.
explain why she's there.
The original cut of this movie is 4 hours
Are you serious?
long.
Fuck you.
The DVD has 50 minutes of deleted scenes.
Why?
Stallone's screenplay was 220 pages long.
Good
Oh no,
God.
Sly, back
boy.
off. Pump the brakes, buddy.
Yeah.
So I guess Rambo does a lot of building and test driving cars at a cabin in the woods on a lake.
Like, I mean, I can see what they were trying to do with this movie, which was copy Days of Thunder with a different set of race cars, and it does not work at all.
Days of Thunder. I remember almost nothing in that movie. That's funny. That's Tom Cruise.
From the way
right?
this,
Yeah, that's Tom
from the way
Cruise.
this scene is shot on right now, it's like, John, we need you to go race a nom.
Right.
Okay, so two things. One, he doesn't have a tool in his hand right now. He has a gavel.
Yep.
And the second thing is that no one on Earth works on a car when they're that sweaty because you can't
Yeah,
hold on to anything.
Yeah. Oh no! And all his fucking nuts and bolts are gonna fall between those wood
giant
planks.
holes
of the barn.
Ooh, Maker's Mark.
This movie is an advertiser's dream.
Oh,
Oh,
gosh,
absolutely.
yeah. The companies that advertise, it's just really a blast of the past.
Just so much
So
product
many
placement.
cuts.
This movie makes some really odd choices with the cinematography. There are so many shots that are way too close to the subject of the frame. It's just really bizarre a lot of times. This is okay, but
This guy who plays his brother gets typecast after this movie as just this guy.
As this
in
guy.
Yeah.
every
Just
single
the
movie.
business
He's
asshole.
so good at
Yeah.
it. He's so good at just being a dick.
as 90s manager man,
Yes.
Yeah.
okay.
Because he does the role very well
Yeah.
for this movie.
Like, yeah, it's like he's not even trying to be like the swarmy, like, fixer guy. And I like how all the racers have their names, like, embroidered on the front of their shirts.
Oh, so you know.
I
it
am
belongs to.
Jimmy. I am Bo.
He
I just
also-
like how he plays the "I'm your brother." Do this for me the whole movie.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of his thing the whole time.
And I feel like it would have been a little better if you saw him like if the beginning montage was like him moving up in the race and his brother always being there and like kind of
Right.
doing things and kind of giving you a reason why, other than just being like, my
We're
brother.
brothers.
Those graphics, though.
Yep.
Oh, they're so good.
Yeah, and I guess that's kind of one of the failings this movie has for the relationship between the brothers is because you don't really ever see them interact
Woo,
in any
Toronto.
way that would build the relationship. Really,
Yeah,
there,
there's no positive.
there are a couple of like toss away comments and looks between them, but it's really thin.
Right, but I mean,
Molson.
and here is the entire movie in a nutshell. It's just cutscenes of stuff that happens at a race.
Right, and
Yep.
then just random soundtrack takes.
Yeah.
So I guess Stallone originally wanted to make this a Formula One like movie or story.
Yeah,
but
he
they're
wanted to make
so like tight-lipped and close guarding on like the secrecy of their team and their cars and everything like that he couldn't like get the connections to do it.
Yeah, they said he tried for a year and
Yep.
couldn't break the code.
Wild. Til Schweiger. What's his character's name in Inglourious Bastards again? I don't remember, but it was great.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Oh, he's the guy they break out of prison.
He's the German that kills Nazis.
Yeah, that's where I knew him from because I knew I had seen him somewhere. I'm like, he's some German like henchman or something like
Yeah.
that.
He's also
Like he looks like a Bond villain.
he does.
Yes, very
Yeah.
much so.
He's also the main character in Uwe Boll's Far Cry movie,
Ooh.
Oh boy.
Ooh,
which we
That
should
actually has-
probably do.
Anthony Bourdain in it.
does
It does,
really?
yeah.
Yeah, as scientists killed in the background.
Right. So for the folks at home, Til Schweiger plays a racer by the name of Bo Brandenburg. Weirdly enough.
Very German.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's having relationship problems with his blonde lady friend.
Stella Warren.
Who actually is a synchronized swimmer.
Yeah,
or
I was going to bring that up
which
during
will-
that
yep.
scene.
We'll get to that later. Got to give you guys some reason to keep on listening to this 2-hour snooze fest.
Blah, 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 blah. Give it to him, Till.
You were driving
Yes.
much too fast.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Winfield was an old cigarette company, wasn't
Yes.
Yeah.
it? Okay, yeah. I was trying to put
This
Just like
was
some of
like
these, like,
right
the
before
brands
this
you see in
Kill the
this.
Cigarette advertising.
Yeah.
Because there's also like the cool cigarettes.
Yeah, there's Cool, there's Players, and there's Marlboro. Very present in this movie.
Yep.
I did laugh here
Yes.
when the
That's a good
Japanese family is like, picture. And Stallone thinks they want a picture of him,
Yep.
Yeah.
when in fact, they want him to take a picture of them.
Well, that's a good. Just,
And then what is he hold? How?
Yeah.
Why is he holding the camera like that?
That's but that's also a good hallmark of like he had kind of fallen out of the action movie scene by this
Right.
Yeah.
at this point. He wasn't, I mean,
Expendables
Schwarzenegger
hadn't
had a little bit
happened
of a resurgence around the late '90s with like End of Days and the Sixth Day and stuff like that. But
Oh God, Nextel.
yet. Yes.
Yeah.
Forgot
Walkie-talkie
about
cell
that.
phones.
Yep. There's so many advertisements in here that I keep forgetting which ones are in here.
yep,
It is quite the deluge.
I originally thought she was going to be more of a love interest, which I feel like was something that was cut from the movie just because it wasn't...
I don't know. There's kind of scenes that seems like they just force it in there.
It's just heavy flirtation.
With a 4-hour cut, like, that wasn't... Like, I was not expecting Burt Reynolds to be in a wheelchair because that is the first reveal that he is, you know...
Oh, also, just as maybe some of the
Big
fellow
K.
podcasters here may have noticed, the Amazon stream of this movie fucks up the captions quite a few times. Just with weird misspelled words. They call Bo Brandenburg, they call him Bro Brandenburg once in the captions.
I mean, maybe someone
incredible.
does call him Bro Brandenburg. At one point when I was watching, his name was like Bo. I thought his name was Bo Beauregard.
Bo Beauregard. I like that.
Yeah.
Whatever you say, Mr. Reynolds.
Mm-hmm.
He was in Striptease as well. Fun fact.
Not familiar with that one.
Demi Moore played a stripper. Burt Reynolds is at one point covered in Vaseline and wearing, I think, a leather cowboy vest. Actually, I haven't seen the movie. I just know about those parts.
Okay, Ryan. Whatever you say.
Tune into Ryan's After Dark podcast.
You can pay for your own hosting services for that one.
Yep, Burt is a handsome man.
He aged well.
He did. So I had never seen the movie Deliverance.
Oh, okay.
Up
I
until-
haven't either, but I know.
It's very good.
It's a very good movie. Yeah.
But it's one of the first movies I ever sat down and watched with my girlfriend's dad.
Oh,
That's not a significant other parent movie, I don't think. I just had some really awkward stuff in it.
I knew someone who was watching Pulp Fiction with her boyfriend, and I think her dad or his dad walked in during the pawn shop scene.
Oh no.
Oh god.
Oh.
Yeah. That's a bad place to walk into on that movie.
Yep. I was like, oh yeah, Pulp Fiction, great movie, and then
Oh, okay. So Til Schweiger's character, and everyone will remember it when I say it, his name was Hugo Stiglitz.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. So I was really confused here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this isn't actually a thing.
but after this, someone did it.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
It makes sense.
Yeah, after this, someone tried CGI. Yeah, but I mean, after he did this scene in the movie, someone actually did that. Okay, so that pit guy right there, who might look a little familiar, is Brent Briscoe. Why you think he might be familiar is he's the old cop in The Dark Knight Returns, or no, excuse me, The Dark Knight Rises. That he's like, boy, you're in for a show tonight, like the old cop who was around.
Oh
when
yeah.
Batman. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Like the most cocky of the cops. So.
The cocky cops.
Yeah. He actually passed away very recently from some internal bleeding, apparently.
Right.
Just a fun little character actor.
I wonder what gave them the idea to do this quarter thing then.
I have
Like,
no
that seems like a
idea.
weird thing to just come up with if you hadn't already
If it
heard of
wasn't
it
like an
somewhere.
established-
Yeah. Crazy. So Stallone's whipping around the track in a car, picking up quarters with the tires on his machine here.
And he just hums for no
Yeah.
reason.
He hums when he's in the zone. Nextel! That's a pretty good line, though.
Yeah. He's got some good one-liners in this movie.
Yeah.
As somebody who, when playing video games,
Speed vision.
Yes.
and gets into his own, chews on his tongue, I can appreciate the hum.
Yeah. I love the little simulator thing.
The virtual racing screen.
Yeah.
So speaking of virtual racing, so when I was young, my dad got me a VR headset for Sega Genesis.
Oh, you lucky thing.
Wow.
Which basically all it was a screen that hung on your face and weighed about 20 pounds, and it had a plastic
good neck exercise.
right. It had a little rod that stuck under the visor, and then you clipped it to your shirt, so that when you turned your head to the left or to the right, that rod could sense the deflection, and it would be like pushing left or right on the D-pad. Was how it worked.
That's
so
cool.
for virtual racing, it was actually pretty fun.
I'm sure
Yeah.
it was.
Because you could race in first-person mode, which was crazy. But then one day I tried to turn the helmet on and play games on it, and the screen turned on, and then it went off, and then smoke came out of it. And then my dad got really
Jesus.
mad and called him up and yelled at them. You could play any games on it though. I remember playing The Lion King.
Oh, that game was hard.
It was very hard. Hey Joe, I do like that they don't put Stallone on like 8-inch heels in this movie to make him look taller than everyone.
No,
Not that they would, but
Yeah.
because he's action man.
Well, I mean, Tom
It's got to be
Cruise
tall
does
and big.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
and
my
Robert Downey
point.
Jr. So up next
You
in
honestly
our
didn't think to look at the rest
world
of the
traveling
time.
beers, we have a beer from Bandit Brewery, which has the cutest logo ever. It's a little raccoon's face. This is their YYX or YYZ to PDX, as in like an airport thing. It is a black raspberry milkshake IPA, which a milkshake IPA is an IPA that has lactose in it, which is milkshake IPAs are like all the rage in Canada. Often brewed with fruit, not as bitter, a little bit more of a body, kind of a creamy finish. A couple breweries over in the States have made a couple, but nowhere near as prominent as they are over there.
Mm-hmm. We're all sampling.
What do you guys think?
It's real good.
This is good.
I'm not sold on this.
It is a very divisive style. Like, I can see why you're not a fan of this, James. I mean, I'm not entirely crazy about it, but it's a nice, smooth, easy drinking beer with some flavor to it.
It tastes like somebody recarbonated flat grape soda.
Oof, that's harsh.
Oof.
I can kind of see where you're going
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
It's got a weird mouthfeel on the finish, and that probably comes from the lactose.
That's the
I would
lactose,
assume.
yeah. I will say that mouthfeel is a little more present on just like a plain milkshake IPA. Like
Sure.
Batch does them every now and then. But yeah. But I'm a big fan of black raspberry, so I figured why not get a bottle of this. This was very good on draft. I can say that. So
This guy looks so uncomfortable in this venue.
yep.
Oh, absolutely.
I do like the showing of the two worlds of him at the the club at the high rise in Toronto. Now we have a quality dive bar with pickled eggs on the counter.
Nice.
with Sly Stallone.
That's
And
how
Fuel
I
your dumb
explain
broad. Late
the
90s hair.
difference between gas and fuel.
Right. So this relationship with these two,
I don't understand it.
Well, it starts off
Where
very
did it come from though?
well. It starts off very
Shoehorned in.
no. Which is that the way she phrases her questions are exactly like you would expect from an interview. It's like, with 10 races left in the season, why do they hire you and whatnot? And he's obviously an old guy compared to everyone else on the track and whatnot. So
yeah.
but and yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You have something to say, like telling people that fuel is different than gas.
Yeah.
So the most unbelievable thing about this movie is that everyone's drinking Budweiser in Canada as opposed to like
Yeah, that
Molson
would
or
never
Labatt.
happen.
Very quiet bar, also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there were like 4 people in it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, one of them looks like the bartender.
It looks like there's like a monkey sticking his head out of a keg in the back.
It's just
I like how the one girl in the
Weird.
background just wiping glasses
Flirting.
down for reasons.
yeah.
Yep. It's
Yeah.
like, just don't move and just fill the scene.
Wipe the glasses. Wipe them.
And costume change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She changed clothes at some point.
Well, the last shirt that she was wearing was only attached by one button in the front, so maybe it blew.
A button malfunction just spins out on the field or on the track.
Oh my God.
Don't start with that line. If you're trying to...
This
Yeah.
This whole scene's just very uncomfortable.
this guy looks like he's about to weep because his Tamagotchi died.
Everyone in this movie is so sweaty.
I mean, that's because they're at the nightclub dancing and
Yeah.
sweating.
Yeah, but
They don't
Are
show
they?
any of that, but
I like how there's a slight fan like off
On her.
off frame because
Yeah.
her hair just like
It's on him a
billowing.
little bit.
I'd say, yeah.
his locks aren't quite as beautiful as hers
Right.
are, though.
No.
They made him cut his locks. He had more beautiful locks in Remember the Titans.
Hey, you got to sacrifice
Was
your
that
locks
after
if you want the
this?
job.
Yeah, that was after this.
Oh, he grows beautiful locks.
He does have very, very nice locks. Man, now I want a sandwich with some locks on it.
Tasty salmon.
Ooh, there is a very good place in Toronto that does have a good bagel and lox sandwich.
That sounds delicious.
This actress is proto Amanda Seyfried, by the way.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot of that there, actually. I actually did a double take. I was like, no, it isn't, but it is? Yeah. No, it's not. Good dig with Amanda Seyfried, by the way.
So this is actually our 4th car movie.
Yeah,
of
I
the
was going to mention
podcast.
that.
I mean, a lot of the car movies are not good.
Yeah, but our other car movies were more explosion based.
Yes,
right.
this is our. Like,
I mean,
yes.
they start coming here in a little bit.
So going through them all, we did Death Race for
The Jason
episode
Statham
2.
one?
Okay.
Yep.
Then we did Death Race 2050, like episode
Which
21 or something like that.
Has actually become one of my favorite movies on this show.
Really?
I like that.
That's the first time we had Hop Slam on the show.
Hmm.
And then we did Speed Racer just
Right.
earlier in 2018, which that was a movie I think we all went out and bought
yeah.
afterwards.
It's so good.
It's fantastic.
I haven't seen that one, but I've heard like mixed reviews.
Oh,
It's
dude.
it's
We'll
so
have to
much
have you over,
fun,
maybe.
Actually.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. Drag Claire along with you.
I
Yeah,
think
absolutely.
it's a movie that just came out at the wrong time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but it's very charming. Like, cause yeah, that
movie has a lot of
did-
butts in it.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Racing has a lot of butts in it.
Fair.
Yep. So, Dave, you've been to a lot of races. I know Claire's told me that she's gone with you to numerous of them. What's the craziest thing you've seen at a race?
Aside from Claire.
Well, I mean, I've only been to
Hope you're listening,
one race
Claire.
with Claire, and that was a ton of fun. But I mean, I've been to the Indianapolis 500 a whole bunch of times, and me and my buddies, we hang out in the Turn 3 infield, which is just a giant party where 90% of the people do not give a damn about the race.
That sounds right.
It's just a big party. Everybody's drinking. They now have a concert there, big EDM concert during the
Really?
race. So there's some interesting things going on there. Most of the time, it's just general douchebaggery.
Mm-hmm.
Just a bunch of bros smashing beers and
Yep. Monster hats, Affliction t-shirts.
yes,
Yeah.
lots of
Ooh,
it.
sounds like my hell. So this whole bit of dialogue here is some of the worst in a movie that is full of very bad dialogue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did not need Stallone and his ex-wife like as a thing for this movie. I mean, I know it's not in many scenes, but it's
No,
unnecessary.
but every time she just searches him out for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you did see when he was pushing Burt Reynolds in the wheelchair, you did see that he noticed she was there.
Right.
Yeah.
Is this Ricky Martin?
Cut rate, Ricky Martin.
Right.
Oh yeah, Memo. Or he was like a discount Jean-Claude Van Damme.
He does, actually.
Yeah.
But much taller.
So I mean, like, they called Sly in to do this race. I have no idea why the guy who used to drive the car would still be there.
Yeah, I mean they would have cut his contract.
Yeah.
Like he
That's
wouldn't
weird.
be in his racing suit getting ready on Sunday.
No.
I don't know.
He's not ready because he's
Team-
got
team-
his sleeves tied, so he can't do them.
Maybe Sly's ex likes him in the suit. It's a sex thing.
If
Yeah.
I can only
He
be
even
with you,
sounds
Sly.
a little bit like Jean-Claude
He
Van
does.
Damme. I do like this.
His
this,
character is
this-
actually
yeah.
really
Memo's got some charm to him.
I want more of this character in the movie.
Yes.
For a movie that is lacking a lot of character, he has.
But has like as
he has
many
all of
characters as like a Neil Stevenson novel.
Yeah.
You show these Spanish. Thanks, subtitles.
That's like the reverse when you. So, I don't know. Have I talked about this on the podcast? But so the Thursday Night Football, if you watch on the Amazon stream, you can watch it in Spanish.
Oh really?
Oh.
Yes, and
Like how WWE has the Spanish announce table that always gets destroyed first.
Yes.
and so they have
Also, what's with the ass whip there? How is that acceptable?
It's a sports thing, maybe.
Just-
I don't know.
and so they'll say people's names, but they say their full name, including their middle name. But they'll speak in their like normal Spanish accent, and then they get to the other ones, and then they put on like Joe America accent for the name. So
That's great.
the commercials do a similar thing. So like my favorite one that Katie makes fun of me about all the time is there was an old Burger King commercial where the end of it was chicken nuggets de los Burger King. Yes.
That's amazing.
That's old. That's kind of like I was watching Shin Godzilla last weekend because of course, and it's mostly in Japanese, but there are some English speaking characters, and the Japanese characters like randomly say English sometimes, or they try to just give an English accent or an American accent.
So Bly's brother just got a burn in on his new lady while they were walking down the track. The brother said, "What are you working your way down the track?"
Ooh,
Calling her
Sick burn.
calling her a hoe.
And it's the second real racing scene.
pneumatic wheelchair lift.
It's
I
so
would have
good.
liked this movie better if Burt Reynolds just tore off down the track right behind these guys in his chair.
Just hooked onto the back of the car.
But like
Nitro canisters.
like Batman out of
Fucking Teen Titans.
Yeah.
Love that movie. Watch it now if you haven't seen it. So a weird observation for all the racing masks for the main characters here. Bo is the only character with material
nose flappy?
down the center. And I wonder if that's to make him look more of like the bad guy. I don't know.
I think it's just made from old underwear.
Maybe.
That might be because originally from his first scene he comes off as rather antagonistic, and there's so many shirtless people in that crowd.
That's a thing.
Oh no, I entirely believe that. But as the movie goes on and the characters are quote unquote developed, that's not necessarily the case. He's the adversary to Johnny Bly. It is a Bro Brandenburg. Wow, you're right, Ryan.
Yep.
Right.
But he doesn't. This movie does not go the way I thought it was going to go. Let's just say that.
Yeah, and that's one of the few times I'll actually give this flick credit where it does surprise me a bit with where the characters go. Not a ton, but
So in the world that we have now of streaming services being able to do TV shows that networks wouldn't put their finger on, I am astonished that a streaming service has not made a basically man soap opera centered around a racing rivalry where each episode is a race. And they do a series of that, and then each season they can go season to season to season. That seems like kind of a natural progression.
that's a great idea, Chum. Sounds like you should get Netflix on the gramophone.
Yep.
And the first unrealistic scene.
Yep.
So
It's
yeah,
just like
Vistion,
they had money and they're like, let's throw a car a ways.
and the captions called it Fistion, which is a great name for a
Yes.
company.
Yeah.
I think the thing I find weirder than the lack of shirts is how 75% of the people in the crowd are wearing just plain white tees.
You got to pay the extra something for showing up to this. Or it was a way just to kind of censor some of the ridiculous stuff people wear to these things.
Oh yeah, I imagine.
Squirty bottle.
So a couple of pit stop shots here. Yep. Dropping the
Wipe
cars
off the
down.
visor and go.
So
So
the entire time I was watching this, I'm like, man, I really want to play Formula D, which is a fine racing board game.
Claire actually just bought that for me for Christmas, and we played on Sunday. It is fantastic. I love it.
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
Did you survive making it around the track?
Yeah.
Oh wow, I think I've done that once.
I mean, it was just us two, so
Well,
we need more
I
people.
still have only made it around the track once. It's a fun game.
Yeah, I had a great time with it. I can't wait to play it with more people now.
So this shot would be cool if it wasn't normal speed driving shot at an undercranked rate. It just looks really awkward.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, that was one of the most fun camera angles that the old races used to have, was right behind that rear tire.
Yeah, that's. It does make it seem more high stakes, and then like we were saying before about the speed, you definitely get more of it from that angle.
Right.
I mean, when you're there, it's tough to tell the difference because it's cars flying by you at over 100 miles an hour. You can't see what the hell is going by you.
So I was lucky enough. One of our suppliers at work had a tent up at the MIS over the summer.
Okay.
Michigan
Okay.
International Speedway over at Belle Isle, and they were right at one of the sharper turns. So me and some coworkers went, and watching these fucking vehicles go by you at such incredible speeds. Like we were seeing at times where like 2 or 3 wheels of the car would come off the ground. Like they'd bump part of the the red and white on the side of the track and just like float over and it was wild.
Yeah.
So seeing races like this that closely, it really, at least for me, helps you appreciate how much skill this sport actually really is going to
And
take.
Belle Isle's a really fun place to go to watch these things because there's a lot of places you can just kind of wander to and
Yeah.
take everything in from a different angle.
Right.
Mhm. We'll get much more into Belle Isle later in the podcast.
Bump, bump, bump.
Yeah, this is a really big asshole move.
Yeah, this just seems like the cheapest thing you can do.
I mean, and it's a real strategy that they
Oh,
use,
yeah, I
but
completely
it's
believe
such a
that.
dick move.
I was a little surprised, again, with how little Stallone's character has been developed, Joe Tonto. I'm surprised that he went through with it.
Yeah,
I mean, he
He's
says
an
that he
old
won't do it
veteran
again,
and-
but yeah.
They could only pull it off in the first race he was doing. Like, they would not do that in the last race.
Right.
no.
A lot of dramatic gum chewing via Burt
Yeah.
Reynolds.
Yep.
Wonder how you shoot these scenes with just the people looking anxious in the box. All right, everybody, just be nervous for a while.
Yep.
Well, they're
Look
all very
around.
quick cuts, so they're probably just like,
Yeah.
do a bunch of facial movements, and then they just edit it in. And
Look up, look down.
look up, look down, chew pensively, smirk other's cheek.
Right.
Just hours of them just looking sad into the camera.
Yep.
Man, I want to drive one of those, but only for a little bit because I'd end up killing myself.
That's a cool. I like that shot with the mirror right
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked this interaction with Burt and Stallone here.
It's very quick.
It's
very
just quick,
decisive.
Yeah.
It's decisive, but it's delivered believably.
Yep.
Yep.
Jimmy Blah back. Nowadays, everybody want to talk. They got something to say. Like they forgot about Blah.
So, Dave, why don't you crack open that growler you brought us and tell
Sounds
us
good.
all about it?
You're on beer duty, buddy.
Well, I got this from Wolverine State in Ann Arbor, where I live. I'm at this bar probably twice a week, easily. And they just came out with this one last week. It is called Holy Sheep. It is a variant of their Winter Lager Pastoral. And this one, they just added some spices.
Sounds
Not
like
sure
it's-
what they are, but they are. It's a very tasty one. So why don't
Sounds
you
like
guys
it's gonna
help
be
yourself?
good. All right.
'Tis the season for winter warmers.
Yeah, Wolverine makes some good stuff. I very much like their Massacre. Is quite good. I think that's their Imperial Dark Lager. Is that what that is?
I've is that the one they dip the 12 ounces in wax?
Yeah.
I've seen that in the stores, but I don't think I've actually ever had anything from Wolverine before. So thank you for bringing this.
Yeah, not a problem. Yeah, the Massacre
Put you in
is
charge of
my favorite beer when it comes out every year. I like to keep an old one in the fridge.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
This year's is, I believe, 14.7% alcohol.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
fairly
so
heavy.
It'll get you.
Carefully passing the beer. So she's already just carting around with these two guys in the back of their car? I don't know. Seems
Yeah.
fast.
Seems very quick.
She's part of the entourage. Get it? They're in Japan.
Oh.
Where are we?
I don't know. Korea?
So, of course, the one female lead in this movie has to be in a pool swimming around. But interestingly, as you guys were pointing out, she is
Good
actually...
hamstrings.
She was a Canadian champion.
That's pretty cool.
Synchronized swimmer.
That's impressive.
Yeah. The lighting off of the pool is weird. like I can understand like you can see like how the light goes through the water, when they're doing those underwater shots, but how much it reflects onto
Bly.
onto Bly, it's just
And it only seemed to be in that one up close shot.
Yep.
that's why
And
it's
this is
weird, I
like the
think.
most awkward flirting scene in the whole movie.
It's just
Cringeworthy.
I
There
do.
it is again. He's shimmering.
Yeah. Maybe he's part vampire. I don't know.
Like we had a mental link about that because I'm like, is he a vampire?
This is kind of cute, but also, like you said, Dave, a little weird.
I don't want to know why it's funny that she's saying ribbit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she said she was raised by frogs. Doy.
Still, how's that a joke?
So what do you
It's
guys
just bad
have about
yeah,
this one?
Back to
back
away
to
from
booze.
this terrible interaction and
Yeah.
out of this. I like this. This one, it's got a very nutmeggy spice to it, which more as opposed to the cinnamon, which I feel like cinnamon is more of the common thing you get with beers of this style. Very nice aroma. I'd like to burn a candle of this. What do you guys think?
Just as a quick aside on the movie, I appreciate, especially given that this movie spends so much time just putting butts in center frame,
Yes.
that this whole interaction does not take place, or you can't see any of her cleavage at all during that interaction.
Well, yeah, a lot of tight close-ups.
Right. Anyway, I like this. Trying to put some words to it here, but yeah, the nutmeg, the clove, maybe. Yeah, there's a good balance of spice in here. It's good. This is clean. This is really light mouthfeel. Yeah, good.
Yes. This is one of my better holiday beers of this season, I'd say.
Yeah.
Some more.
Yeah, 'cause James, you're particularly a big fan of the Winter Warmers.
Yes.
He jokes it out there.
Yeah, no, I think it's really
It's
easy.
been a mild fall.
I think it's really easy to fall into the same basic spices with these, and I like that this has a completely different spice profile to it, but still feels familiar.
Agreed. You listening at home may not be able to actually see us unless you can, of which you don't have consent to see us. But we are all nodding in agreement of what James is saying.
Yes. Yep. Smile and wave, boys.
Good. That's good pod.
This is one of those scenes that's really awkward.
It's super
I don't understand
awkward.
why it's happening.
Yeah. I mean, I know that they're trying to push the whole, like, Brotherhood of Racers thing on here, where the racers are kind of pushing back against the evil coaches and owners of the teams or whatever.
And the fame.
But it still seems like if they're a Brotherhood of Racers, maybe they wouldn't all be
Chasing the same girl.
Chasing the same girl. I don't know.
And I like how they brought, Sly in here to teach his kid how to, deal with the business. And he scoops up Bo's ex-fiance, and now he's like, Bo, go get her back.
Yeah.
This is the first scene that was like, okay, this movie is not going to go as I thought it would.
He wasn't just like the bubblegum chewing evil villain.
Yeah, or the fact that, the fact that they had that kind of interaction as opposed to Bo being like, oh, he only won the race because of you.
Right.
Yeah.
It wasn't confrontational.
Yeah, because that easily could have just, been that.
A lot of chest thumping,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it starts that way, and they're both he's kind of like, there's the acknowledgement that he's just like, I did what I was told, but I'm not going to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm just trying to keep my seat for another week.
Like, what? Why that cut? Just start here.
So many
Yeah,
just
right.
Start here.
So
There
many
was no need to show a helicopter for reasons.
Holy shit. That's the track from Mario Kart Double Dash. That's the Luigi circuit. Like
Yeah,
the
it's what
very
they modeled
first
it off
race.
of.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Because it's one of the only
All of this
oval
would be so
tracks in
good.
Japan that can take these that can handle these cars.
Yeah. But the way that the bank and the how one end of that track balloons. Yeah,
It's
go
a
look
little
up the
bit of
map
a wider
for Luigi
turn than
circuit.
the other
yeah.
one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, more ass shots.
Time for butts.
More pictures of the food. Show
Yeah.
me the food.
Yeah, show me your.
I
Throw us
almost
your
thought
shoe!
when they showed the girl
Oga
on the,
Nama Yaki.
yeah, I almost
Give me
thought when
cabbage
the
pancakes.
girl
Oh,
on
they're
the
so
shoulders
good.
was just gonna flash everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just like happy kawaii face.
Yep.
So Bly being just swarmed.
harassed.
Yeah.
No touching.
No touching. That ring has been there an awfully long time.
Yes, it has.
Oh, it's
It's
a flashback,
traveled
though.
continents. Also, the band is like a half-inch thick.
Right. It's basically
I
a
think
gauntlet.
that was the style back then, though. Those big thick rings.
Mhm.
What the fuck kind of cut and editing is happening right there? That was so weird.
This whole
The
scene
weird
is just very
flashbacky
weird.
thing on the Kawasaki. Like, I thought that was supposed to show that they were. I don't know if that was supposed to show that it was happening then because of the style of the motorcycle.
It's very like Top Gun throwback.
Yes.
And now these two are
So as far as
About.
Stallone speaking, he hasn't quite devolved into just
Burma
Ozzy
with the
Osbourne
war
mumbleitis yet. He also hasn't gotten 400% wider as he ends up being in later movies.
Well, it's
all the
2001, so
HGH.
we haven't
Yeah.
gotten to that. We haven't gotten to that physique yet.
Yeah, he's not on HGH like Dave just said.
Right.
You're just gonna get pneumonia, dude. Like, that's all that's gonna happen. Or just
and just
Cuts.
once again a needless cutscene. Like
Cut.
So
cut,
even though that this movie ultimately wasn't what I expected it from how the plot goes, the beats of like how the story will kind of go, or how the overall story will go is kind of makes sense. Like, you know, they bring in they bring in Sly, he's gonna win. Now he and Sly and Beauregard have a little pep talk. You see Johnny Bly going out to the clubs in Tokyo, and you see Beauregard like running the streets, and I'm like, okay, yeah, he's gonna win the next race.
Why would that ever be on a giant screen in Japan? Just an old white man fishing? I don't know.
because they put you on the screen, right?
Okay. That's fine.
Hey.
Money, please. I refuse to believe that no one is talking to that blonde lady, to the blonde main character. What's her name in this movie again?
Stella.
Sophia.
Swimmy
Or no,
McFroglegs?
it's Sophia.
Sophia.
I think mine was right.
That's a nice cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Or
fun
transition. Yeah.
So we're back to a race. It's a race.
Get the item crate.
This isn't a bad shot.
cut. No.
No.
Just kind of hovering up above the track, probably a helicopter shot.
Half the time when I see Burt Reynolds' gum, I think he's like shooting on a cigarette butt.
Yeah. Don't let it go to waste. Ugh.
Ugh, that tan suit. Who do you think you are, Obama?
Yeah. He's like a less just hideously smug Ben Shapiro is what he looks like to me.
Ah. I love all just the needless shifting shots.
Yeah.
Dramatic
This car
shifting.
movie.
21st gear. But yeah, man, being close to the track with these kind of cars is so cool.
It's super fun because I remember when these guys used to go to MIS, the big oval, and they're doing 200 miles an hour around
That's
that track,
wild.
average speed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So kind of standard just race shots right now, and a lot of
A
them.
lot of swerving needlessly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm out of straightaway. Correct.
Most of this track is a straightaway, but
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, don't overdrive it.
So, Dave, for those of us not in the know on racing, what would you say is overdriving the car? What does that actually like mean? I would
You're
say.
just carrying too much speed into a corner, trying to catch up to the guy in front of you. And if you're late braking, you're going to miss the apex, and you're going to be slow coming out.
Hey, giggity.
Fair enough. I assume also when you overdrive your car, you're gonna wear down your tires.
You're gonna cook the tires.
Oh, well, yeah, he's just dead. Oh, no.
I mean,
So
car
Bly just
probably
ran right into a
shouldn't
wall.
have flipped there.
Yeah.
They usually just hit and go
Crunch.
the other way
Just
across the
crunch.
track.
The points process in this whole system was making me scratch my head too. That Jimmy Bly has now crashed out of 2 races, but yet is somehow still keeping neck with the guy.
But we magically went from race like 6 to 10 races left.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they did establish that there was 10 left, and we only see 4 in this
Yeah.
movie, which I don't think we needed to see 4.
No,
Burt Reynolds' ring a moment ago looks like it was made of candy.
probably was.
Yeah, it's a long race. You gotta just have a ring pop. Oh, ring pops.
Hey guys, everything's fine. I found his head. Just to go back to an old Seinfeld joke that's very funny. In this case, you're going so fast in these races that the helmet is now wearing you for protection.
Yes.
Yeah.
Looks like a Super Bowl ring he's wearing.
Now here's where the movie premise just starts going off the rails.
Yeah, I would say there's a huge turning point after Chicago, which we're coming up to right now.
Oh God, this scene is so wonderful.
Now we get
Yep.
some tantric on the soundtrack.
This is when the movie starts to feel like a modern car movie.
Yeah, they just kind of decided, all right, that was too boring. Now we need to spice it
Yeah,
up.
we're gonna
with some
spice it up.
nonsense.
Here we have the glitz and glamour, the video game overlay thing,
So- Yeah. In the same way that Bly...
the driving the cars
That's really
through the
cool,
water
actually.
thing.
Yeah,
I think that's
Great.
awesome.
like the whole presentation of this, I get, and I'm just like, yeah, this is super cool as a like a gala event.
This is exactly what one of these would be like too.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to your point, Dave, they're like, yeah, time to speed things up because the movie was so boring. In the same way that Bly was over driving his car, they're kind of over.
Yeah, they're going to
overdrive this movie.
overcorrecting
They're overcorrecting it.
real quick.
Here's a chocolate statue I have. I'm just going to assume all the props in this movie are made of candy.
Like
Also, what a
like that one
terrible
Japanese game
dress.
show?
Yeah. Well, I mean, who's
Yeah, is it
worse
chocolate?
dressed in this, her or Sly?
Her.
Oh yeah, that is
Yeah.
a lavender burlap sack. I like that weird camo thing that girl had on the right there.
Okay. They
Businessman
never
with the
explain
business
this
bitch.
chick. Yeah.
That was a very red man.
The red man.
That's been a ongoing Deadspin joke this year. Is they took a picture of John Gruden, who took over the Raiders, and as the years gone on, and it's gotten worse and worse and worse because he's always overly tan. They've made him redder and redder and redder.
Oh, that's so good.
And just toned down the whole background. So, like, it's the very end of the season, and the last picture they showed was just a white background with just a red, like, outline of John Gruden on the
That's
front
hilarious.
of it.
I love that.
Like an angry tomato.
I also think this is the part of the movie where they're like, all right, Brandenburg's not going to be the
villain.
the villain. It's
Yeah.
going to be this bitch.
Yeah.
Gina Gershon. I don't know how old she is at the time of filming here, but
Whenever
she's
she's on
rocking it.
scene, you can tell there's a martini just out of frame. Like you could just sense it.
I feel like if the camera were to cut to the floor on Jimmy Bly in this scene, that his sneakers would be blinking.
Some LA lights.
Yeah.
What are those roller shoes?
No, the Heelys.
Heelys?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Heelys.
Just heeling his way around a gala.
Through the water, dude. I'd do it. Oh my god, that dressed lady. Talk to someone and fire them, whoever gave you that dress.
I do like his black on black suit.
It looks good, yeah.
I think that adds to making him look like a child.
And there's the cleavage shot.
I think the lighting was poor. And she's doing a line of coke when she's in this bathroom.
Many a line, many a line.
I'm crossing the finish line.
Yeah. The home stretch.
Need to go into a pit stop.
Blah, 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 blah. Time for some catty bathroom chat here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blah, blah.
She's like hilariously over the top villain.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, she's mustache twirling.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure.
The PG-13 middle finger.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the mascara is running.
Yeah, with the middle finger.
Oh.
Well, she said it into the mirror, so who was she really addressing?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go not act out of frame now.
And I'm gonna go. Cool.
She's my ride. I'm not old enough to actually drive normal cars. Just a lot of nerd in the headlights going on here.
No.
See, harumphs his way through the crowd.
Uh-oh.
So Purple People Eater is over talking to Bo.
And Kip Purdy is
Who
not
looks
having
much
it.
better in a suit than
Yes, absolutely.
He looks more like a Bond villain now.
he
Yes.
does. Yeah,
Yes,
he
he
is.
does.
He's a full-on
Full
like
on.
the henchman. He is the number 2 right now.
Yeah.
And now he's just gonna steal his girl back.
Yeah, bleeds. Tears of blood. Tears of
Yeah.
blood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, he could be. He
Spill
has
drink.
a very similar facial structure to Sean Bean.
Yes.
Mm.
Just a very squared.
Yeah. The cheeks. Yeah. He easily could be like German Sean Bean.
Oh, a weird over-analysis of Til Schweiger, since we're on this topic, is I feel like his acting comes across as better than most in this movie, and most of it is from the eyes.
Yes,
I think he's
he is
acting from the eyes.
Very,
Yeah.
very powerful eyes. When you see him in the mask, you can see the
He's very aggressive and
Yeah.
the piercing green eyes versus the soft green eyes of Jimmy Bly.
You just have the dead expression of Bly. I don't know. I think that dress would help me get over her.
yeah.
I'm surprised there wasn't some clip about that from his brother. And look at her; she's like a like a Yankee Candle.
Like she swan dove into a purple curtain and said, "Yep, this is what I'm wearing." Nah. This has been so boring, you guys.
Yeah.
Like, this scene
Yeah,
is
this whole
But
dragged.
it makes up for it in
Yeah.
like
Hold
3
on
or 4 minutes.
real quick.
While we finish this beer and gonna need a refill here soon.
Well, I'm gonna pass that on over.
Mm-hmm.
There you
Yep.
guys go.
Yeah, resupply.
All the beers we've had today have been very drinkable so far. I mean,
Oh yeah.
we all inhaled that lactose IPA for better or worse based off of our preference for it. This Winter Warmer is pretty easy drinking, and that
Yeah.
sour was
Yeah, they've
very
all
light
been
as well.
very easy to go down.
I like that
And-
everyone's in tuxes. I forgot about that. And
About
then-
Stallone just wandering into hobo clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah, cowboy boots and jeans.
As Sly now runs to get into a car that cannot start by itself.
Eh.
Movie logic.
So there are a couple times when the cars are coming at the camera in these shots. I want you guys to pay really close attention to the faces and how bad they
Oh
look.
god, they're so bad, so bad.
Like this?
Oh no, that was fine. But like right now, it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
when the car's kind of far away, it looks like just a cardboard cut out on a stick.
Oh,
Yep.
I love the CGI manholes going
Yeah.
flying.
Yeah.
James, did you get top off on this?
I'm good. Thank you.
Oh,
Well, Dave there.
That's
Dave's
not
top
bad.
off.
There is still an hour left of this movie.
Oh yeah,
guys.
and plot-wise, nothing has happened.
He's driving angry,
Which is also a movie we should do.
which is a movie we'll be doing
Yes.
maybe
So-
soon.
All right. Question
Teaser.
to the present folks.
Okay.
What
Answer.
exactly is Sly's plan? Like, why? If
Gotta
someone
catch
did
him.
this, if the
He's-
kid just jumped in the car
okay,
and just drove
okay,
away,
Okay, no. So here
What
is
do
his
you-
plan. Sly Stallone was hired as the car whisperer.
You'd be blind right there going.
Yeah.
Also, when does Chicago roads have this little cars on them?
right? When you're
Good
filming a
question.
movie about race cars.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't do a scene on
Yeah.
Lower Wacker Drive. I was waiting for it.
The radar gun joke is trite, but fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're doing 195 miles an hour with nothing over their faces.
I was gonna say no human vocal cords are loud enough. This is stupid. You don't
Yeah.
need that.
Yeah.
That was.
I mean, fine, keep it, but you don't need the
I
slow
like
mo cut
this
at the
little
end.
bit,
This
though.
is fun.
This
yeah,
is
with the
funny.
magazine stand.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was griping. I lost my train of thought. That's okay.
That shot right here.
Oh gosh, yeah,
Oof.
that's bad.
That's like pixels bad.
Yes.
Yeah. Ooh, pixels. Shit, I
Manhole?
forgot what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
I
that'll
like
kill
how long
your
that
ass.
manhole stayed in the air for, dramatic purposes.
Yep.
More on that later.
So these two have been racing.
Oh yeah, he's the car whisperer.
Yeah,
So
car
he was able to
whisperer.
talk Beauregard out of his "my girlfriend fiance left me" funk.
Yeah.
So he's going to do the same for Jimmy Bly.
But yeah, so you can't. They were yelling at each other in the tunnels. No one is that loud. These cars are so deafeningly loud. You're not having any sort of conversation from car to car at 200 miles an hour.
You can barely have a conversation with the person next to you when all of them are going by you.
Right.
All right,
That's
but
accurate.
but
But
everybody see the cowboy boot shift. It's
Yes.
just hilarious.
this is just so dangerous to so many other people.
Yes.
This is very irresponsible.
And nobody crashes, which is wonderful.
Boring.
Yep.
So
And
this
then
was
my favorite little throwaway line is after this scene.
Yeah.
When
so
you go to the next
He is
race.
super arrested.
yeah, you
Oh,
are
yeah.
very under arrest.
You are going to jail forever.
Yeah. You are never driving a car again.
So again, this entire lecture does not need to be delivered right here, right now.
No.
You didn't have to hop in a car and whiz around downtown Chicago, endangering all sorts of people.
In the days before camera phones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
Everybody's got their Nextels out and beeping each other.
Yeah. Beep, boop, beep.
Out of there, they're bulletproof Nokia and using it to defend themselves from the streets of Chicago.
Did any of you guys have a Nextel phone?
Negative.
I did not.
No.
The walkie-talkie feature, while it seemed like a really good idea, completely impractical because you sound like late Sly Stallone coming through it all the time. You couldn't hear anything.
That's
I guess it
disappointing.
was probably good back when you had minutes,
Yeah, it was nice for that, but it used minutes.
even when you weren't talking.
Not when you weren't talking, but like if
Well,
you
I
were
mean,
in
it was-
The
conversation.
quick bip, bip, bip.
Yeah. I don't know.
And you could put people on alert.
Interesting.
Because I got one from a summer job working construction. They're like, here, have this phone. We're going to get a hold of you whenever we need you.
You are now on alert.
That's fun.
So somehow the cops haven't showed up yet, and Stallone.
Well, they were going so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Stallone is lecturing.
Despite there being a helicopter like right above them.
And there are no police in Chicago.
Nah. So
They're all
Stallone's
off,
giving a
they're,
nice
they're all
lecture
off at their
here
black sites.
on how to just appreciate the purity of racing.
Here's my little chocolate trophy for you.
Yeah, right.
Is it milk chocolate? If it is, I don't want it.
What is Bly really? Sly Bly, they call me. I am sorry. This guy has a very punchable face.
Yes.
I felt like he
Yep.
originally, Sly Stallone originally wrote that as Jimmy Sly. Then he was like, "Wait a second, I can't do this." And then
Wait
made
a
the
minute.
The S into a B.
Up and here comes a getting better at life montage.
Chocolate pudding.
It's rude that the stewardess only brought 2 puddings.
Well, that's so they could share,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
Well,
But
if
still.
some asshole kept pretending a spoon was a car and driving it into the desserts, yeah, I wouldn't bring enough for everyone either.
That's, you know what, Ryan? That's entirely fair.
So we just went from 10 races left to 2.
Yeah,
So
they
we've
cut
missed
out
some
8
stuff.
races, didn't they?
Or something. Yeah.
And then, yes, they got fined $25,000 for their joyride in Chicago.
That's kind of a slap
Not
on the wrist.
arrested and
Yeah.
allowed to leave the country.
Yeah, well, fines just mean that those things are legal for rich people. So,
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's fair.
That's correct.
Also, all those temperatures in Germany were in Fahrenheit. Which, come on now, movie.
it's because it's American TV showing it.
So I also like this whole thing, this whole little montage that's about to come up.
Mm-hmm.
3 days before the race. What is it like?
I don't know. I'm trying to get good at racing again, bro.
It's good, bro.
Me and my '90s hair don't appreciate this.
Yeah.
Oh, look at I'm having lunch with the crew.
With the plebs, man.
I'm part of the team.
Burt
It's
Reynolds
the team
is
building
really happy.
montage. This movie started off with a montage, and now it's on to another montage. And
Yep.
And I'm still no more entertained.
I don't understand this part here. There is no track that they race on that has a flat apron, then another lane that's massive banking.
Sounds like deep cut knowledge.
Yep. But it does. I will say it did look odd from the angle it was shot at. Like
The
I would
whole,
expect
like-
them to be going the opposite way based off of that bank.
This whole layout of this German track does not make sense at all.
So I do know that a portion of this movie was filmed in Montreal on
Okay.
their speedway. So
Oh.
maybe the Quebecois
Yeah.
have a crazy ass track like that because Quebec.
Well, they have the Formula One track in Canada up there, the Isle of Gilles Villeneuve,
Yeah, so
which
that
is
that,
a
that could
super fun track to go to. It's one I really want to go to.
cool.
Uh,
So have you just been to tracks in the U.S. or?
Yeah, I've only been to U.S. tracks. Indy, Mid-Ohio, Road America, Road Atlanta. Just a bunch of road courses all over the country. There's a few I still want to knock out.
Any aspirations to like go overseas and see anything as far as?
I would love to go to like a Formula One race in Germany. I think that would be awesome.
Pretty cool.
Driving spoons.
Yeah.
Yep, driving spoons.
Yeah, cool.
Driving spoons ain't like driving a car, Bly. Get it together.
Wrong kid died.
James, you've had to do some traveling recently. Any notable beers or breweries or anything like that?
No.
No.
Just frustration
always
and
win.
tiredness.
He's got double cross protection.
And he is cut.
Cut. Yeah, pan
Yeah.
left to a Jobu statue.
A lot of those guys are cut.
Yeah.
This whole, like, I know that he's supposed to be ruthless, but he's got the hottest rookie driver, and he's going to kick him off the team if he doesn't win the next race. Is such a ridiculous concept for.
He's
Yeah,
won
yeah,
for even this movie.
five races this year. He is
Yeah.
number 2 in the point standings.
Yep.
Like, there is no way in hell that they're going to get rid of him.
No, they'd be giving him.
No, they're giving
It's
him
for
more.
dramatic tension.
That's a good line. Again,
Eat
I
it,
also
Fresco.
go for one-liners.
That they brought Memo here to race. Oh, in the denim jumpsuit. Oh,
The denim diva.
so good. But they brought Memo here to race. Didn't tell anybody until the day of the race.
Yeah.
Which is
So they've been
super
doing
dumb.
like day by day, like 3 days to the race, 2
Yeah.
days to the race.
This all could have been said like day one.
Yeah.
He looks like one of the Property Brothers.
He
A
does.
little bit.
Speaking German.
I do love this a little bit.
Yeah. It's kind of a cool just like switcheroo as far as endearing the audience to that character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he's not
You really
the
start
bad
off
guy in
hating.
this movie.
Yeah.
You really start off not only hating, but just like, oh god, it's the
It's
the
that
villain.
guy.
But you know, like I'm kind of almost rooting for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because he's been able to get over his pride, while JB is like trying to get over his fear.
Yeah.
Right.
The old man that just went by in the golf cart, that is a lot of the fans that show up to these races.
For sure.
Not the Hawaiian Tropic girls.
Yeah.
Jimmy Blah. Is it just me, or is his hair getting less marvelous as this movie goes on?
Yeah.
That's a show that time has passed.
And he's more stressed.
English, please.
He's speaking Stallone.
Let's go back to German.
This is where the movie goes from bad to great.
Then back to bad, then great, then bad, then great, then bad again.
Bosh, 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 bosh.
It's like rain on your racing day.
Yes.
Yep.
I love
That guy's definitely there.
Yep.
Always.
Wow, Jimmy who?
The
Well, I was just
soundtrack
playing
for
the
this.
It's like God's sprinkler outside, guys.
The soundtrack for this movie's a lot like GoldenEye or any late 90s Bond film.
I got a Top Gun vibe from it the whole time.
Okay.
Outside of the iconic song, the like weird slow...
Rain Vision.
Oh, this is a
So
poor choice.
good CGI.
Yeah, I mean,
It's the
it
best
looks,
CGI.
It's aged poorly, but I think it's a cool effect that, like, if it were a couple years later, it would have been maybe, hopefully, more better.
I think if it was a couple years earlier.
How is that?
Oh,
How is that better and cheaper than just taking a high-speed camera through the rain? I don't know.
Kind of like
that's
this.
cool.
And hearing Filter's nice shot here made me feel pretty old.
Yep. But no, some of the weird electronic stuff in the background reminded me a little bit of GoldenEye or World's Not Enough. Gonna turn very
Hey.
slowly.
Some PlayStation banners.
Yep.
Oh, shit.
And this could never... Oh, nope. Wrong part.
Oh, yeah.
Wrong backwards car.
Yeah, PlayStation's actually a huge sponsor of soccer and Formula One.
Yes.
I believe it.
I mean, Honda's a big engine supplier, and they partner up with Sony a lot for a lot of the electronics that go into the car. And also for the crews, laptops, TVs.
Would the race even be allowed to go on in this kind of rain?
Not in this bad of a rain,
Yeah.
because this is like torrential downpour.
Going back to Formula D, it's a very, very small little thing, but I like how one of the optional rules is you can roll for what the weather is before the before the game starts.
That's pretty funny.
If you're playing on like the most like
Rain
expert
vision.
advanced things where it's like, oh, how do your tires perform when it's overcast or when it's raining outside? And
I mean, these cars do have rain tires, so that's not inaccurate.
yeah,
But it has to be very...
It is
like
cool.
recently damp or whatever.
Yeah. Seeing the water kind of follow the aerodynamic contours
Up and here it is.
of everything.
This is absolutely absurd.
This is where
Oh yeah, try somersaults.
Woohoo!
Now we have like an extreme G2 soundtrack.
Everything's fine.
He's
fine.
dead.
We're good. That's a throwaway guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just like one of the few real human beings in this movie.
Man, Target must have paid a lot of money for this movie.
Target was actually in the series for a long time. Actually, they show the owner of the Target racing team. His name is Chip Ganassi. He's makes a cameo in this movie a few times.
Huh. Point them out next time if
I will.
there are any left.
He's in the Detroit scenes.
Yeah, I think there's a couple. Like I think there's a lot of cameos in that little like opening montage or before the race starts.
Yeah, because when I was looking at the actors credited in this movie, it was a lot of the actual guys that were around in 2001.
Oh, fun.
Bzz, 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 bzz. Fucking memo.
Yeah, don't race your teammate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not with one race remaining and in the championship hunt.
Mm-hmm.
So, Memo is ignoring his orders from Mr. Burt Reynolds.
Yep.
He turned off his mic.
And then the villain is saying, keep going.
Yep. With her green denim.
Yeah, why does she have
Why is she
a
there?
headset?
They usually give them a headset, the significant others a headset, but it doesn't have any communication purposes.
Just so they can hear or whatever.
Now, if they just brush wheels, which they do in this, yeah, you're going to go sideways. Bad wreck.
Yep. But wait, there's more.
But how is he now 50 feet in the air? And when you need dramatic effect, gravity stops.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, slow-mo car being obliterated midair.
This is an effect I would expect out of Speed Racer.
Yes. And fuck you.
He's just
Boom, boom,
fucking
boom, boom, boom.
clobbered. by another racer.
Car made of gasoline, apparently.
Skyrocketing through some trees.
Hey, look, it's Ryan's ship from Galaxy Truck.
Galaxy Trucker. Basically, every time I delivered it. I delivered some stuff, though. So Memo wound up in a tiny little pond.
Outside turn 5.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Jimmy
One can only
Bly-
imagine the crowd over at turn 5.
Right. As he's off-roading with a fucking...
Well, I'm only saying
F1
turn
car.
5 because of this
I
bit
know.
here.
I was going back to when you were saying you would go to turn 3 at the Indy.
Well, no, because they're like, oh, rescue squads are so far away.
Yeah.
No, it's a turn. There's always rescue squads in every turn.
Yeah. Also, that you'll see a zoom out in a minute or two. It's like it's such a remote location, and it's like 10 feet off of
The fucking
off of the
track.
road or off the track.
I mean, I do like this little scene of heroism.
Yeah, so Bly drove off the track and drove to Memo and is trying to flip his car over because Memo is underwater. There's an awful lot of standing around from these people.
Well, I mean, there's nothing you can.
I know.
Really do.
I figured I'd react more strongly if I actually cared about this person.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And then Sophia's like, hey, go get him, Bo. Go help.
Ooh, fuel pouring out of the car.
No,
Which
it was,
why
it
is-
was Memo. He had to go.
Oh, yeah. Well, that makes sense because I assume that all the fuel was burned in that giant firestorm through the trees as the car was flying through the air.
Apparently not.
And then Bo decided to help as well.
Yeah.
Well, I like how Sophia says, hey, go do something. And then he parks the car and she says, what are you doing?
So spoilers, by the
I
time
meant
this
like hashtag thoughts and prayers.
right.
Yeah.
By the time this movie is over, I think I like Bo the best out of everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, rescue.
Remote location of the crash. Yeah.
The remote location of turn 5 on the track.
It's ridiculous. I don't watch racing, and I know that's ridiculous.
So as they just showed him out of the car there for a hot second.
Yeah, they did.
It was a pretty horrific situation, though.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh,
Just drowning,
It's a-
but
it's-
also
it's a
maybe
tense
burning
scene.
alive. Yeah.
Like and it is shot well. All the
Up-
movies like.
and they're ripping him out when he probably is paralyzed.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's not going to be explodized.
Well, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. There's,
Yeah.
but no, the movie's been
I don't
doing a
know.
lot of like dramatic close-ups of all the actors, and it worked in that scene.
In that scene,
make
it
very
worked,
tense. Yeah.
It was one of the more well-shot scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perhaps the only.
That's fair.
One of the only.
Fair.
Few and far between here. Bump, 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 slow-mo explosions.
The rain effect, whenever they show it, do a close-up, though, it's like it's very clearly
Oh.
very bright by them.
Mm-hmm. Oh, now they care.
Yeah.
Is that's what the his does Stallone's ex-wife ever get a name?
I don't know.
I think she
They
does.
mentioned it a couple
Yeah.
times.
Denim Martini is her name now.
Perfect. That's a great name for her character.
The denim enema.
And they're still on their way.
Where? This is such terrible planning for this
Sly
event.
Stallone got there before the rescue squad.
He travels through space and time.
It's been about 5 minutes of movie time.
And they'd also be bringing him up the hill on a backboard.
No, they're just like dragging
They're
him
just
up.
dragging.
There
Oh,
There it is.
slugging him
Now
up
it
the
is
hill.
now. At first, they were just like dragging him up the hill.
Good Lord. Yeah, I told you it was just my foot.
Yeah.
Fucking Bo's fine.
Yep.
Maybe Stallone has something in his contract where all movies that he's in need to have helicopters.
Probably.
Makes sense.
I really want those yellow vehicles to be Transformers.
Oh, that'd be so good.
Living the Vida broken.
Hey, Memo. Did you make it?
Did you get my memo? Memo.
Oh God!
Oh yeah, Jimmy's here, by the way. That's what that cut just made me think of.
Remember Jimmy? You guys, people in the theater, you remember Jimmy?
He's okay too.
Jimmy's kind of extraneous to most of this story.
Yeah.
But he's like kind of the main protagonist.
Yeah.
Eh,
Kinda.
eh.
He has an arc. I was like, he has an arc, but I don't know about that.
We're
Very
doing our best
linear
not to
arc.
hate on this guy, but we're just running low on evidence.
Everyone else is more interesting than him. At least.
Yes.
Oh, no, he's
I
alive.
thought Memo was dead there for
Yeah,
a
he
second.
just looked like he was dying.
He's that good of an actor. Too good for this movie.
That seems like that would hurt intensely to
Yes,
make
it
that,
does.
to shake him like that.
Weird camera angle.
Dutch tilt.
Show that Mercedes logo.
Yeah.
She's certainly dressed like it's a funeral.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's the same outfit that she was wearing in the club.
Give him 100 cc's of foot fluid.
Fluid stat!
Why? He doesn't need an IV.
I see you're wearing Das Boot.
Yeah.
With a camera?
My hair
Wait.
thanks you.
Why is Bly even back in a hospital bed?
He was. Yeah. I mean,
He was rolling around in a fucking wheelchair 2 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Well, he's got to rest.
He got a doctor's note.
Got to get that leg up. Stop that swelling.
I really want to crack open Bly's Trapper Keeper to read all of his thoughts he's been recording in it.
And this is...
I see Stallone's coming from a gala.
Yep.
Yeah, he's
Or his barn in wherever he was.
No, he's not sweaty enough.
Oh, that's
not
true.
holding a gavel.
I thought he was gonna go find Bane in the sewers.
Now I'm going to look at this car that allegedly exploded all over the place.
Yeah, I feel like that's a big question that never gets answered. Why did the car just turn into a flaming rocket?
From this angle, it looks like Burt Reynolds has no legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Reynolds, you ain't got no legs. So, Bert's wondering if the old Stallone is back or not.
Yeah.
He's always there.
Bert's character just.
He's the devil.
Yeah. He has no moral footing in this movie at all.
So, bigger villain, the
wife or
Ex-wife
Bert?
of Denim Martini
Denim Martini, yes.
Yeah.
or Burt
Or
Reynolds.
Wheelchair Bert.
Wheelchair Burt.
Well, I
He's
guess
the
in
most
this-
unscrupulous
Right.
because
I
he's
get-
the one like he holds Stallone back to have Jimmy Bly win in that first race, and
Overall, he's probably created so much pressure for Bly that he's contributed to a lot of this nonsense and
you
drama.
don't actively see him do that, but
Yeah.
yes.
I guess since he's in a wheelchair in this movie, he's more like Hurt Reynolds.
Mm.
You're welcome. I feel like I'm being scolded right now. There's
Yeah.
actual acting happening, which is rare in this movie.
That's a good line. The slowest man, the fastest sport. Wait, that doesn't make sense. He wakes up every day and his legs are on fire, but he's in a wheelchair. Wouldn't that assume that he can't feel his legs?
I guess the implication there is he doesn't have any motor control, but he still has feeling, I guess?
Yeah.
I mean, because that happens a lot with amputees. They can feel their...
Well, yeah, they have phantom
gone,
pain.
Yep.
but I don't know. Does that work in a paraplegic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Medical folks, give us
Help
a
us
shout.
out.
Yeah.
Do you see?
For this scene to have any weight behind it, he could not have acted the way that he's acted through the rest of the movie.
Absolutely.
Correct. Yeah. If it wasn't like, if you don't win, you're out.
Yeah.
Yeah. The last time we saw him do a speaking role,
Like, I just want Stallone to punch him.
I'll just like tip
and
him
he
over in his
spins
chair.
around in
Like,
his chair.
Just punch him. Like, he just deserves to be punched.
So this movie's go-to gesture for I'm stressed out or upset is to wipe your face and or head.
Yes.
Yep.
But oh yeah, it's a very sweaty movie. Who was it? Yeah, Worm Service. You borrow his clothes from the gala?
Yeah.
Like it.
Yeah, look at that phone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nah, bro.
Your glasses are dumb. That's what I have to tell you.
Killing me with this drama.
Yeah.
Apologize for the coughing today. Is that the
guy
same
with a German Shepherd?
He got down there very quickly.
Yeah, especially for hobbling.
Very fast elevators.
No.
That's a fucking terrible tie, man.
Is that a suede jacket?
It looks like it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is this way. Wait,
It's corduroy? That seems unlikely, thinking about yourself part.
Yeah. My grandmother gave me what appears to be a suede. I don't know if it's. Yeah, it's probably suede. Like blazer that was my grandfather's. It's like a darker blue, so it looks a little better than that.
Sure.
But
Well, yeah, but it was your grandfather, so much
like-
better than whatever he has on.
yeah. Plus, it's not as like that baggy '90s garbage.
Yeah, late 90s, early 2000, baggy clothes for no reason.
Yep.
So this big blow up between the brothers right now would have, a non-zero impact had there been any meaningful development between these two. prior
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
I
Or
mentioned that
even-
earlier.
Like, because they time compress so much, it feels like it's been like a week, is what it feels like.
Look at his two different little flip flops.
He's
Well,
got a boot on.
He's got a thong on one foot and then just like a regular sandal on the
No, he's
other.
got a boot
He's
on.
got the boot because he's hobbling. Remember?
Oh,
Yeah.
But it still looked like he had a flip flop because you could see the bandage like sticking out.
Medical
and
flip-flop.
home sweet Detroit.
This is surreal as
The D.
fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here we have a skyline of Detroit in
What up, Doe?
2099 with a giant vacant lot where Ford Field's going to be built next
Yep.
to Comerica Park. This is Belle Isle before the state took it over.
Right.
And it looks wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's because it didn't have 15 years of neglect at this point.
That's fair.
True.
Yeah.
Just like 2. So do you guys remember hearing about this movie being made around here?
I did.
Okay.
I feel like I heard tiny blips about it, but it never stuck.
Because I feel like
Like
this,
that guy over Bo's shoulder. That's who's that races.
Yeah. Because I feel like this movie probably would have been a bigger deal. 'Cause I remember when 8 Mile was made, like that was
Right,
a whole
that was
big thing.
Huge deal.
Of like they're filming this around here and whatnot. Good
Yeah.
punch.
Should have used a ring.
Yep.
Goodley just slugged shit Piro in the face.
Yeah.
But no, like I don't remember anything about this movie being made, and I was 10 or 11, so that would have been at least something I was.
Well, because I think they just filmed footage. Oh, sexy churros!
Sexy true. that little Japanese kid.
That's going to be my new PlayStation screen name when we have to get new ones, right?
Yes. Sexy churros.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, but I think they just they filmed footage of the actual race that was going on that weekend,
Yeah.
and
Of the
not
actual
any
Grand-
of the actors were here.
That makes sense.
Like this is something I believe they actually would do on Belle Isle.
Yeah.
Yes.
My parents went to the Grand Prix on Belle Isle before I was born. They have a framed poster of it, and it looks like it's a Formula One car or an Indy car.
Well, Formula One used to race in Detroit way back when.
Yeah, this was back in like late '80s, mid '80s, and whatnot. And it's somehow tied into the Diego Rivera mural, kind of, or something like that.
Huh.
Interesting.
Oh, Windsor, in the butthole of Ontario.
Oof.
It's a well-known fact.
Is this a real thing that you can't drive if it takes you more than 5 seconds to get out of the car?
It makes sense.
It
I'm
makes
not
sense for
100%
safety
sure.
purposes.
Or is this just some stupid Mr. Miyagi shit that Bert's pulling out of his ass?
I think this is more realistic than
the next thing?
Mr. Miyagi shit that Burt Reynolds tries to pull.
Yeah. Yeah, getting out of the car in less than 5 seconds totally makes sense for safety purposes.
It does.
Yeah.
Like if it's on fire, you want to get out.
Exactly, yeah. Or if it's flipped over, or,
Yep.
you know, da-da.
4 seconds. That's less than 5.
Yep.
That's what his smirk said.
Yeah,
But
right.
this seems like something what
This
Burt
is
Reynolds is about to do. That seems like something that you would maybe learn about how of people getting muscular damage or, you know, delayed fractures of like, oh, you had a hairline fracture, but you never noticed it.
Right,
But
now it's a
because you
full-on
were
fracture.
racing, you know, for so long, it just, you know, propagated and whatnot. So
Well, I mean, like none of the braking system that's not aided by power. It's just your foot. So I mean, makes sense. But I don't think it's something they do. Or if you just had a broken foot, they're not going to let you race. Period.
Yeah. The fact that they're even entertaining allowing him to go on is just, you know, Hollywood
Bit
drama.
of a stretch.
Yeah. Now your foot's broken and you can't race.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Fooled you.
Gotcha! Bert actually twists his mustache.
Now you have to be in a wheelchair too. No, that's not.
So
funny.
what I love about this whole racing scene
There's
on
nothing.
Belle Isle is there's a lot of cuts to not Belle Isle to even less Belle Isle,
Yeah.
then back to it.
Now we have this weird
This is weird, like actual
preparation montage.
like
the
that's
music.
Juan Pablo Montoya. He raced Formula One for a while and then came back.
Mm-hmm.
And then he raced NASCAR.
Yeah.
Let's set up this weird little
I
playground.
don't know
for
if that's an actual thing, but it would kind of make sense.
Yeah.
Deeply annoyed by this music choice.
Yeah, it's real poor.
So
But these do seem like little
pre-race rituals.
yeah.
Yeah, and every guy
Picture-
has their
yeah.
own individual one.
Pictures
Mhm.
of loved ones stuffing in the suit.
Yep. I would have preferred more of these montages spread throughout the movie.
That's adorable,
Yes.
by the way. The rocks with the googly eyes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, a lot of guys just take a nap before the race.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just get their head straight.
Yep. So, as people in the Metro Detroit area are well aware of, but you, the podcast listener, may not be, there's a whole big controversy right now about the Grand Prix on Belle Isle because of how disruptive it is to the surrounding neighborhoods and people wishing to use the facilities. Because it takes like a month plus to actually like set everything up, and then the tear down, and then just like everything about it. Because, you know, the summer season is only so long around here, so
And they raced the Belle Isle
Precious few
race
days.
immediately after the Indy 500, so it's the weekend after Memorial Day. So it's like the official kickoff to summer.
yeah. So it's, you know, you got those occasional, you know, few good weeks in the spring, and then basically, you know, half the island is shut down. And ever since they've been doing more and more on the island since the state has taken over, whenever there's something large, there's always stories of, you know, of the park being shut down because there's not enough parking on it, so they literally won't allow you onto the island.
Toughen up, buttercups.
May.
If you want to be a big-time city, you
I
have
hate
events
this
in
line.
mind.
city.
If I lose, it's your fault. It's Della Warren.
But that's interesting. I want to focus on that. So Till's line of, you know, if I lose, it's your fault, used here at the end of the movie, that actually punctuates one of the only meaningful character arcs this movie had
Yeah.
with his character. I thought I liked it, actually.
It's charming.
Yeah.
Like if that were, you know, at the beginning, that would just be like, ooh, you sinister ass.
Because it's both an acknowledgement. It's both him acknowledging the mistakes that he's made, but also just kind of punctuating that, you know, I'm past that now.
Mm-hmm.
Right, with
We've
her.
come
He's
full
taking
circle.
he's taking ownership of it with her. So we have this shitty fucking music with people loading into their cars.
It's very much music of the time.
This is preview channel music.
Yeah.
Motorola, Pac West. Bosch.
For those of you now watching, it's some kind of like smooth electronic with like a coral piece in it.
Yeah. Again, Bo with the divider down the middle of the face. Stallone just looks like he's napping.
I think because of his facial structure, it
It's
allows
those old eyes.
I think because of the facial structure of Bo, it allows more stunt doubles to sit in for him because you have that bridge.
Sure.
Stallone's got a wider face. You can throw more beefier-ish dudes in there. And if you notice like on Bo's mask, like the way the padding on his face is, it kind of like squishes it together.
Yeah.
So it's not as distinct. So I think it's just one of those filmmaking tricks of getting the stunt double
To make
in
actor
there.
swaps less obvious.
Yeah.
Curious and curious all.
So here we go.
So now
This is actually Belle.
Yep.
So a lot of these race like a shot is no more than like, I don't know, a half of a second for some
Right.
of this bit.
Mm-hmm.
But like, yeah,
Cut,
we're on Belle Isle. You get
cut.
this.
Yep.
And then all of a
I've
sudden,
kayaked in those ponds.
there'll be palm trees,
Yep, palm tree.
which, as we know in Detroit, are things. I hated this bit of the movie because this actually
That would-
happened at MIS. A
Yeah.
tire flew off from a car and killed a couple
somebody.
people
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, really?
I
Yep.
remember that story.
back in the 90s. So I was like, come on, guys.
So
I feel like that would have shut down the race like then and there.
oh, it did.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, killed or not killed, but like into the crowd.
This
Maybe not. But
the repairing car damage is one of my favorite
That's
things.
Chip Ganassi. That's the guy that
Yep.
actually owns the cars.
Okay.
So are all these racers just plowing into huge chunks of plot convenience? Is that what's happening?
Yes.
Okay.
I do like with open wheel racing that you actually can just fix parts of your car like that because it's just modular.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unless it's the suspension.
Right, and then it's
that's a nice
and then your
little sweet-
terminal.
yeah.
Yeah, I like this zoom in here. I like this shot.
Yeah, this is like,
That's where they launched the kayaks.
that's a good shot.
Yeah.
Yep. More shots like that throughout the movie would have been very welcome.
Agreed.
Also, drivers can't communicate with each other via radio.
They hacked the radio. They hacked the Gibson.
No, they're not talking through the radio. They're just
They're
the
just
radio's
yelling
picking
really
up
loud.
their
Yelling at each
conversation
other
that
like
they're
in the
having.
highway?
Yeah,
Oh,
on the
they're
highway.
practicing.
Yeah.
Oh, those red fucking shoes. Mm-hmm.
Wait, teammates can't communicate?
You have to communicate through your team. You talk back to your team.
Oh, okay.
You can talk back to the guys on the pit wall, but
But you
everybody has
can't
their
you
own
can't do car to
frequency.
car even if you're on the team. Okay.
Yeah,
Huh.
but you cannot talk to another person via the radio in a different car.
All right. Okay.
The movie's really trying to showcase the relationship between Sly and Bly here at the end.
Yep.
Which
But-
has
but-
not developed
again, yeah,
one
it's-
iota.
Exactly. Totally.
Again,
agree.
it's one of those. This is a movie that was literally cut in half in time. So it's one of those like how much of that was.
I
assume it was a lot of that.
I cannot fathom a 4-hour cut of this film.
No.
I kind of am now just morbidly curious just to see if like anything happened.
Right.
Like, did they go through all of the races that they cut?
No,
Is
it
that what
has
they
to
did?
be. It has to be more of the character stuff.
That
Yeah.
looks rough.
The thing they left out the most.
So I mean, or even just like fun scenes that didn't apply to the overall plot of the movie, like probably a lot of the Sly and the reporter stuff.
Sure.
Because I bought myself a copy of The Boat That Rocked for my birthday, and which is or Pirate Radio. It's known as over here. The U.S. cut of that movie is like 90 minutes. The British version is like 2 hours and 10 minutes, and that movie had an extra like hour, or at least another hour.
Oh, this is one of my little favorite
material.
CGI bits where this car goes into the lake.
Yep, into the
Oh.
just whoop, into
And
the
then-
channel.
Okay.
Just wait.
So many cars.
Oh
Oh, this is fantastic CGI.
Yep.
So pretty spectacular wreck just then.
Yep.
Wrecks.
No, those
Also,
the
Speed
Speed
Racer.
Racer Pistons.
Yeah.
Did anybody recognize the car that went into the lake? It was a black number 6 car that they just showed right there for a hot second.
Good eye there, Dave. But anyway, Boat That Rocked, on the DVD or Blu-ray, they have a lot of deleted scenes, at least like 30, 40 minutes of deleted scenes, and they all have intros and whatnot. And a lot of them are just like, hey, we love these scenes, but it didn't apply to the overall plot. You know, some of the best scenes of the movie, but we just had to cut it.
Huh.
And, that's... I think that's really some of the hard part of, like, making a movie is being like, okay, yeah, we'd like how this turned out, great character interaction, but does it really apply to the overall story we're trying to tell? No, and
Right.
that's when it ends up on the cutting room floor.
Well, yeah, and I mean, there's pressure from the studios and the theaters too, because if your runtime gets too long, then a physical theater can only show so many
Right.
iterations of your movie in a given day.
They're going to start
So
losing money.
They're kind of averse to overlong movies.
Yeah, it's like, Jodorowsky wanted to have his 12-hour Dune movie.
Yeah. So there's been a lot of just extraneous race cuts for the past several minutes while we've been blabbering. There's an occasional shot that gets our attention, but this is not terribly engaging racing.
No,
this
other
is
than
kind of my
crashes.
favorite bit. They're like Jimmy Bly will take the lead here, and then he will surrender it with 3 laps to go, and everybody reacts to it like
It's
the
like
race
the end
is
of the
over.
fucking world,
and
yeah.
Yeah.
there's no way in hell he's gonna win. Oh yeah, 4 laps. I'm sorry.
Well, no, he passes them in the third.
Well, all of the competitions just exploded.
Yes, that is true. Some of it's still laying in Lake St. Clair.
Mm-hmm.
And hence,
I do like the little effect of, like, the reflection of the iris.
yeah.
Yes.
It's held up surprisingly well. It's the whitest trout I've ever seen at a sports event.
Tends to be the case with race events, I believe.
Go to a NASCAR race in Alabama.
Yeah. Racing down in Bammy.
Oh,
yeah.
gosh. So bad.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That was
Rough, gentlemen.
Yeah, he's got to be disappointed that with 3 laps left.
He's only with 3 laps left. He's only at best going to be second place for the whole season with a
And then
rookie
he's
driver.
fired.
Yeah.
But Joe Tanta, Sylvester
Tanta.
Stallone, started humming, which we're bringing that back
Yep,
for.
let's see. Remember,
Yeah.
he's in the zone now. He's going to pick up them quarters.
you start to see him just dropping quarters, like, oh my god, he's dropping the quarters.
Quarter
He
can.
flicks a quarter out and just nails Bly right between the eyes.
Spins out, explodes, hits the fountain on Belle Isle.
I do enjoy the pass he's about to make.
Is this legal?
I mean,
Yes, but you just
just fucked up
destroyed
your
your
suspension.
car.
yeah,
Yeah.
which they get to in a minute.
But hold on, we're still going.
Yeah, so Tanto's car. So he just like jumped a curve to get the lead. Joe,
But he's still doing 200 miles an hour with
with
3
busted
wheels.
fucking car.
I like how the crowd was pointing at, like, oh my gosh.
Bye.
And it's like, oh, he had to take his foot off the gas to go even slower than having 3 wheels.
Than having
that
a
were-
busted
Yeah.
ass
He
car.
had it. He didn't have it. His car was going to explode.
Yeah. I don't think these guys are as adept as we think they are.
No, probably not.
All right, we've got 19 hours of
And here's
shots
some
of
Fast
shifting.
and Furious preview of just needless shifting to go slightly faster.
Yep, dramatic shifting. Yep.
So Bly's remembering Stallone's lecture.
I do like this.
And then he
camera
gets the
angle here.
Stallone
Yeah.
vision.
Speed vision. So now Bly starts humming.
I like to think that Burt Reynolds' character is just chewing on the back end of cigarettes.
That's
the
what,
whole
yeah,
time.
that's what I was saying. You
I love it.
That's a good take.
It's too stiff to be any gum. Or it's several year old
Oh, it
gum that you
finally
got from baseball
broke.
cards.
His lucky chew.
back it down
The
after
big
they were
league
yelling at him that
shoe.
he had it.
Yeah.
But guess what? He spun for third place.
Spawns into third place.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're gonna end your movie
Terrible CG.
with
Yeah,
the
that's
one with
Good
really
CG.
bad.
Bad CG.
terrible
Real
CGI.
bad.
CG.
Also, pick better music. I
Yeah.
feel like that really needs to be stressed in this movie is how poor the music is in much of it.
A lot
I
of it's
feel
just
like-
droning and boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like if this movie were made today, like all of those like press scenes would be Fame by David Bowie playing.
Yes.
Like, babe. You know, that'd be good. But we can save that discussion for the
The rap.
View Again, Brew Again. Like this feels like very much a 2001
Little
like
victory montage.
montage.
Yeah.
Clapping mid-jap.
Yeah.
Like I love how this scene they just leave Bert in his wheelchair.
I also love that
They give him bionic legs.
literally everyone apparently doesn't care that, I don't know, half a dozen people just exploded in their cars during this race.
Somebody's still floating down the river.
Yep.
I still
That's a
don't
very
get,
strong current.
Like, I don't get where they're like, why didn't you win the race? They told him to stop racing so hard because his car was going to break, and then it broke. Like, he didn't do anything wrong.
No.
Red leather pants.
Ooh, bold decision.
Yeah.
What?
Thanks, generic white guy announcer.
Well, I was going to say, whatever guy who sounds exactly like Norm Macdonald.
That
Like,
tie
is
too
the
dark for that
brother
shirt.
happy? Is he pissed?
I don't know. Also, fun fact, I don't care.
Okay, that's fair.
That is a hilariously tiny trophy for winning.
For winning a championship?
Yeah, they always give them absurdly oversized
Oh,
trophies.
yeah.
Also, the arena, the stands at Belle Isle are nowhere near as large as they would have.
And
I
they're
believe.
not on
See,
that
Sean
side
Bean.
of that track. I like the second place trophy,
Baby
just as big
second
as the
place,
first
yeah.
place. It just has a 2 on top.
Arguably, it's taller because it has the 2 on top.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Oh, yeah, third place guy. You probably want to get on the podium, too.
Yeah, dummy. Get up there.
This is when his ankle suspension breaks.
I like the
and he falls
CGI confetti in that scene.
Yeah.
Is it, though? I don't know. Tough to say.
Like, right here it looks real, but now it's not there.
Yeah.
Now it's there.
Believe me,
now
this was
it's gone.
shot over multiple
Now it's
days.
there.
Yeah. You freaking child. He looks like he's 15.
Might have to look how old Jimmy.
I'm gonna
Kip
enlist
Pardue
in the
is.
Yeah.
in the champ car racing circuit, like my great grandpappy did in World War One. Hot take: champagne is terrible.
Oh, in the eyes? Yeah, it's not great.
No, just in general, champagne is terrible.
Oh, I love champagne.
I love
There's some
champagne.
good ones.
No,
Thank you for that.
too sweet.
You're drinking sweet champagne then.
In
Gotta
general, I
drink
don't
dry
like it.
champagne.
Yeah.
That's where it's at.
Yeah.
Bo gets my vote.
Yes, in general, dry champagne, and yes, Bo gets the vote.
Yeah, I like how now they're the 3 best friends that ever have been around.
Go for Bo.
Credits.
So
Roll
many
credits.
So that wraps up that wraps up Driven. We're not staying around through the 7 minutes of credits to find out if there's a post-credit scene.
There's not.
There
I
is
checked.
not.
There's not.
I checked.
So, View Again, Brew Again.
Wah,
Would
wah,
you
wah,
watch
wah,
this
wah,
movie
wah.
again? Would you drink any of these beers again? Ryan, let's go with you first.
Okay. I will start. Let's start with View Again. No. I just like this movie a lot. It's mostly just boring and unengaging, almost completely. For a movie about racing at 200 miles an hour, it's just not very exciting, even for most of the racing parts. A lot of the dialogue is just gratingly bad. Much of the acting is very wooden and phoned in. I do not like this movie, and I'm not going to watch it ever again. Brew Again. So we had 3 beers today.
Yes, we had the let's see, was called the Holy Sheep from Wolverine.
That was the first.
We had
sour.
the no, that was
the last one.
warmer. We had the
okay.
Boysenberry
Excuse me.
Plum
That was a sour.
Jolly King from Bellwoods, and then we had the YYX to PXD from Bandit. That was the black raspberry milkshake IPA.
Yeah, the one that had the lactose in it, right?
Yes.
I liked everything we had today, but the one that really got me was the first one. That sour was super good. I know this. I'm grabbing this vessel now. This is not the thing I'm talking about. But yeah, the one from Bellwoods was super good. That was a very good sour. We talk a lot about how much James and I like sours on this show, and this is really up there for me.
Oh yeah,
this is very, very good. And just to kind of retread some old comments, that it's not too sour, it's not too sweet. It does a lot of great things with the overall balance here, and then the dry hopped character is just great. That's my favorite. I liked all three today, but that's the one that stuck with me, and that's the one I care about.
Okay. I'll go next. View again. No. I'm gonna rehash one of what Ryan said. The one thing I think that is not remarkable about this, or monumental or something like that, is like I was mentioning earlier. There's a lot of other car movies that came out immediately afterwards or around this time, and I think just of how car movies were made between Driven and Fast and Furious and progressing onwards from there, you can see bits and pieces of it in this movie. So if you want to do like a whole like retrospective on like how Hollywood has made racing and car movies throughout the years, I think this is a good like touchstone of like having deep character development and entertaining actiony scenes, but you don't get that really intricate work until the second half of the movie. Like, to me, the race through the streets of Chicago is the real turning point of the movie, where it becomes a lot more enjoyable and interesting of a movie to watch. And then after that is when you get a lot of the interaction between Bo and Bly, as far as they're
triangle.
They're adversaries, but they're not. They are part of like a love triangle, pretty much.
Adversaries, but not necessarily enemies.
Yeah, that's a good representation. Going to the beer, I'll go in reverse order. Holy Sheep. This was really good. For winter warmers, this was very easily drinkable. The spice balance was a little off base from what's usually presented. And in that case, it's something I definitely would have again. The black raspberry lactose milkshake IPA. Because I know I brought the bottle back. Milkshake IPAs are very, very hit or miss as far as the balance of the fruit and the hops, and it's really easy to mess those up, or just get a beer that's middling at best. I wasn't as much of a fan of this in the bottle as I was when I had it on draft, and this bottle isn't that old, maybe like a month or two, about 2 months probably, but it was still a fine effort, and Bandit has had some good beers, and as far as marketing goes, their logo is fantastic. Like, Stephanie told me when she first went there, they didn't have any like glasses for sale, but all the little flight glasses had with like the Bandit logo on it, and they're like, we're gonna be selling glasses soon. Please do not steal our taster glasses.
Do you have the bottle over there? I actually haven't seen the logo.
Yeah,
yet.
1 second. And lastly, the Jelly King from Bellwoods, phenomenal. I can't say enough. Boysenberry Plum is a very like odd fruit flavor combination as far as like what you would think of.
Well.
It was so good.
But just very tasty. Looking forward to having many more beers from them. James.
I'll do brew again. The sour was phenomenal. Bandit, while they have a cute logo, I don't ever want to drink that again. I don't. It
Not your
really,
jam, huh?
It really had a bad. The aftertaste hit me.
Excuse me.
The aftertaste tasted just completely of like seltzer water. That's all that I was getting on there. And then
I could see that, but yeah.
the Wolverine I really liked. That was good. From a view again perspective, I'm gonna say no, but I want to watch the movie that they tried to make, if that makes sense.
Yeah, the 4-hour cut or even what's in that.
No, I don't want to watch the 4-hour cut. I want to watch the movie that they were thinking they could make out of these characters.
You should watch Days of Thunder then.
Yeah, because it's just there's character development in some characters, and other ones have the Tony Stark character development where they just keep being the same person over and over and over again, and they're like
Learns nothing from their.
Yeah, they learn nothing, or it's just like Burt Reynolds' character in particular was just slowly but surely over time being more maniacal and evil.
Manipulative and such.
And then people be like, okay, well, we'll just do it anyway. Like, why does anyone want to deal with that guy? Like, he fired everybody. Just quit.
Oh, something I also can say about this movie is Jay Leno, former, late night TV host, huge car guy.
Yep.
He hates this movie.
Oh, and for good reason.
Yeah, for good. He's like, this is not how racing is at all.
Yeah.
And then when Sly Stallone was asked, like, hey, any movies you regret making? This is on his list of movies he regrets making.
And it makes sense.
I believe it.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, you can see, again, this is, a key for a lot of the movies that we do, right? You can see that there is a good movie in here if it's
done correctly.
If you break it down to its composite parts and rebuild it up from there.
Yeah. Dave.
Mr. Dave.
Obviously, I'm going to drink the Wolverine again because I plan on going there several times in the next couple days.
Yeah, if that
It's
wasn't
early
clear,
enough that you could still make it there tonight if you wanted to.
Most likely.
Yeah, if that wasn't clear, I was brew again on all of the beers. It's just that the sour was my favorite.
The Bandit.
Sorry. Back to you, Dave.
Yeah, the Bandit. It grew on me as I drank it. I would definitely drink it again, and the sour was phenomenal. I don't think I have to repeat anything that anybody else said. It's great. Go buy it. Go drink it. As for View Again, I saw this movie in 2001 in a movie theater, and I've seen it twice in the last couple days.
So sorry.
That's it. I never want to see this movie again. It's the racing format that I like the most, the open wheel. They could have done so much more with it, and I was expecting Days of Thunder for Champ Cars, and it failed on every aspect.
Yeah.
2 hours and nothing happened.
Yeah. So with racing of this kind, like, have you always been like a big fan? Is that like something you did with your family growing up, or is it something you just kind of got into on your own? Or
yeah, I mean, my dad and I, we used to get together. I mean, we still get together and go to races, but Indy 500. I mean, I remember watching that as far back as 5 years old.
Cool.
It's just
So
something
it
that
runs
was
deep.
always on at the house.
Runs deep.
And it's something that I just grew into and loved. And this movie did nothing to enhance it.
So so I'm gonna ask all of you guys now, if you were gonna remake this like in 2019, what would you do different? What would you keep the same, if anything, or could you do this movie in this day and age? Or
So that's actually interesting. So I had a couple comments I was kind of holding to the end, and I guess I'll start that. And I'm going to say it already has been. This movie has been made, and that movie is Rush. So if you haven't seen Rush, Rush is a very good movie. With
I'll be the odd man out. I have not seen Rush. Ryan, describe Rush.
So Rush is a open wheel racing movie directed by Ron Howard, starring Chris Hemsworth and Daniel Bruhl.
It is a true story.
Niki Lauda and James Hunt.
Right.
It's fantastic.
It's
I
an
loved
excellent racing movie.
That's
and
everything I hope this
right.
would be, and it is.
So if you haven't seen that movie and you kind of want to check out a cool open wheel racing flick, that is my suggestion. I saw that.
For purposes of discussion, what does Rush do better than Driven?
Literally everything.
Yeah.
It has character development.
Yeah, actual
Oh, it's not
character
even
development.
character development. It just portrays the actual sport in its proper light.
Yeah, so it's I have to take Dave's statements on faith because I don't know anything about the sport, but yeah, it seems to be like it's a more accurate representation of what goes on in the sport, but also it's shot well. It's the there's a very visceral feel of speed when the racing happens. The relationships that are built on screen between the main characters, it is very meaningful. It's very emotional. It's a really quite good movie, actually.
And I mean, I think part of it, and where this movie to me fails the most, is that there's solid plot threads throughout all of Rush. Rush makes sense. It's it's a contiguous story. This, in a lot of way, feels like a TV show that got cut into a movie.
Yeah.
Yes, I will. With the weird romantic subplots and
There's too much going on.
Yeah, like
there's too much going on for
There's too much going on for nothing to happen.
You can have a whole lot. Yeah, exactly. You can have a whole lot of circular stuff, like orbital plots going on, if you have a solid center plot that everything is rotating around.
And too many characters for what they're trying to.
When you don't have that solid center plot, you can't do all those other things, because it's like, okay, which one of these things am I supposed to care about, right? Which one of these things is the most important? That's what's going on.
Yeah, right after you have Beauregard winning in Japan.
Sure.
Yeah,
Why not?
in Japan. It's like, okay, how are they both going to deal with that afterwards? And, oh, nope, you got to stop for Italian Jean-Claude.
Right.
And then fast forward to 2 races left.
Yeah.
So too much going on and not tightly done.
No, that was when this movie, after I first watched it for the first time, I was like, okay, because I caught bits and pieces of it before, then we watched it now, like yesterday, or I watched it Sunday, and then this. Once I watched it all the way through, part of my mind was like, maybe Stallone couldn't actually get the rights to the Lauda and to that story, and so he just made this one instead.
Something like,
because it's so close in a lot of ways.
It is.
It's so close in a lot of ways.
Well, this movie wasn't even supposed to be about IndyCar and Champ Car in America. This was supposed to be a biopic about Ayrton Senna, who was a famous Formula One driver who died in the prime of his career.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I get none of that out of the final product here.
I think unless you're like hard in the paint in the sport, you probably wouldn't know that, or unless you're like looking it up, because that was something I had uncovered while doing some background. Like, how the fuck did this happen?
Yeah, I mean, he just couldn't get the rights to the Senna story, and this is what he shed out.
Well, I mean, it does feel at a couple points, it feels like someone's going to die, and nobody ever dies.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, there's no.
Hence why the PG-13 rating.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the only emotional gut punch that's supposed to happen in this, I guess there's 2, is Sophia leaving the main character for the other main character,
Right.
Which happens in the first act.
Yeah, and then his brother leaving him, but his brother's just a huge jerk, so you're kind of like, woo!
Yeah, you're
you
rooting
sort
for
of
him
see
to
that
get
as
rid
a
of him the whole
motivational
movie.
moment for him to be better. Is
Right.
like, oh yeah, your shitbag brother is gone. Now you just do it your way.
Yeah, but like, there's no, for a movie where you're waiting for that like foot to drop, or like that, like I said, that gut punch to happen. There's no gut punch.
It's always just like, it's like, you know, like waiting there.
Waiting
it's like,
for
it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, and
But
then
never
it just
happens.
keeps just, you know, they keep doing the wall sits and just building those quads and hamstrings. But yeah, I think that's probably a good place. It's just it doesn't deliver. This movie does not deliver.
Don't watch this movie.
Don't watch this movie.
Yeah.
However,
watch Rush. Like, that's
Watch Rush.
genuinely a
Rush
fun
is
movie.
fantastic.
Yeah, Rush is so good.
great.
also listen to Rush. Rush is a good band.
Rush,
Yeah, just
decent.
watch, listen, all that stuff. And if I can, just squeeze in as we're wrapping up tonight. I'm trying to look through Rennie Harlan's backlog.
Yeah, what
movies.
else has he directed,
So,
out of curiosity?
Actually, the 2 things that always jump into my mind from Rennie Harlan, and I'm just now learning that he directed Die Hard 2. Which
oh,
is a great
damn.
movie.
Okay.
But the 2 Rennie Harlan flicks that I actually really, really enjoy are The Long Kiss Goodnight, which stars Gina Davis and Sam Jackson.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
It's a fucking highly entertaining, like, action spy kind of movie. And a movie that has its own crazy kind of Hollywood history. Rennie Harlan directed The Exorcist: The Beginning, which is one of 2 prequels that was made for The Exorcist. And it's a great horror movie that has some of the most brutal shit I've ever seen.
And that's
in a
coming
horror
from you,
movie.
Ryan, who
Yeah.
watches the most horror movies and brutal shit out of all of us.
Yeah, that's so those are my 2 just plugs for Rennie. I mean, he does make good stuff. This is not part of it, but he does make some pretty great stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, movies always come down to writing. And
Yep, a lot of
this
the times.
is Sylvester Stallone trying to make a racing movie.
Right.
And it just
And I'm never gonna shit on someone for trying something.
right.
Right, that's cool. But
If,
the end
if
result's
anything,
pretty
that's what I
poor.
can say about Sly. Is he tries to do these really off the wall.
At least he goes for it. Just out of curiosity, do you know how much this movie grossed?
Like 94 million.
How much did it cost to make?
50.
Oh, okay, so it actually
Not
made
terrible.
money.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
It's not the worst bomb we've had.
yeah, but it's. I mean, I assume with all like the endorsements and stuff that probably drove the cost down.
Floated
a lot,
a lot of it, yeah.
and you know a lot
It
of
was
the racing
free
stuff.
free promotion for most of these companies.
Free promotion from a lot of these companies. A lot of the racing footage was actually racing footage,
Yep.
so that probably just probably had to pay a little bit here and there, but yeah, there's no like big like action-y scenes like you would see in like modern car movies where self-driving cars are driving off of parking lots and parking garages like
Mass chaos.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, subs bursting up through the ice and whatnot.
Yeah.
Cars dragging vaults. Yeah, we'll do a Fast and the Furious movie at some point.
Or maybe even all of them.
Just do all of them.
All of them.
Our livers can only handle so much.
They don't have
It
to
will
in
be
one
a
day.
good death.
Well, that was
Actually,
kind of
that'd be a
that
great
was
day.
the kind of plan we
That's
were
that's-
talking about doing
yeah.
was watching
Yeah.
all of them in one day.
So potentially,
Good luck, boys.
yeah,
potentially a future GBBV
But, we'll-
experience.
we'll see about that.
We're all
see.
dying with stupidity right now.
Yep, yes we are. So Dave, thank you for joining us.
Thank
We've
you
had a
for
good
having me. This
time.
was fantastic.
Good.
Yeah,
Thank you
we're
for
glad to have
letting
you
me
on.
put you through this garbage.
Yeah, thanks for bringing beer to help get us through it.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
I'm glad that a couple weeks ago when I'm like, oh, we should have you on, and you drunkenly told me what we were watching as we were drinking several beers, and I'm like, okay, cool, yeah, that sounds like fun.
Yes.
Then you had to watch it, and yep,
Yeah,
here
then
we
I'm
are.
like, okay, you know a lot about racing. We'll use that to fill the gap because Ryan was like, this movie's very boring, and I'm like,
oh, it's terribly boring.
yeah. So yes, and for you, the listener, thank you for joining us. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, other social media platforms,
Right.
probably.
All the bullshits.
Yeah, all those bullshits. Good Brews Bad Views or at GBBV Podcast. We are on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Podbean, and wherever other fine podcasts are found. So please check us out there. We've got some great things planned for the year. We hope you enjoy them. And as always, please watch.
And drink.
Responsibly.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Happy New Year.
Shift dramatically.
Shift.